All right, go on. Have we done this before? Feels like we've done this one before.
We might have. We've done a lot of TNG. We've been on the sets.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that. Jesus.
Okay, which com badge do I have in my hand right now?
TNG one.
And which hand? A or B?
B.
I was very happy there for a second. I have a lot of com badges, Stuart. That was a low percentage chance. Wow.
That was two good guesses right off the top.
That was.
Or were they? Was it deja vu?
Wow.
We actually didn't plan that, so that's pretty funny.
That was seriously. I have at least like 12 com badge variations. That's really good. Do we dare do it a second time? Because I have one more com badge.
No. I don't trust my luck that much.
Super chat if you want me to do it again. Now, if he gets it, that means it's confirmed we're in a reality loop. So that's the only way you could guess it. Like, you're not guessing randomly, right?
Welcome back, guys.
Hello.
We're talking TNG, and this time it's a great one. Cause and effect.
Yes. It's a real classic. And it's even more vibe for both of us because we're both fans of the book Ships of the Line. That was the sequel to this. And then, of course, our unanimous way at seeing Kelsey Grammer return in Lower Decks. His face, anyway. So, bit of a soft spot for the whole spectrum of this episode, not just the physical episode, but what it does, etc.
It made me want supplementary material, though. I want to see what his crew goes through, coming through, not being able to receive the hail and then hailing the Enterprise.
Yeah.
And I also want to see the you better beam over to our ship as we have some stuff to talk about. I want to see that discussion.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ozzy throws in $2 and says, "Do it again."
Okay.
Oh god.
Okay.
Here we go.
Okay. So keep in mind I have com badges from all the major timelines and variants and 2 hands at least. Okay. First, which badge and which hand?
Picard com badge.
A and B.
A. Okay, so far we got one right. Oh, that's it. It's the yes. Holy shit!
It's the all good things com badge.
It's close enough.
Very close. Very close. You're one off, one ear. It's still pretty good.
I thought in mind. Thought it was the same one. Fleet Pod, $2. Never fear. Fleet Pod's here. Good to see you.
I was fearing, so that's good.
So maybe we haven't done this before, which is good. Okay.
Or we almost have, and your brain was almost deja vuing into the right answer, but not quite. So next time we do it, you will get it, because the first com badge, that was the 15th time you've done it. Sorry, you kept using TOS. I said to you, Stuart, it's a fabric badge. It's not com badge. I have spare fabric badges lying around, and you were like, no, you keep guessing.
Chuck A, member for 46 months, at the rank of lieutenant.
Just us doing it.
Every 15 minutes, this review starts over.
That would be a good April Fool's video, just releasing the same review first 15 minutes 10 times. That would actually be pretty good. Maybe we should do that. Yeah, I'll come over to you and release a 2-hour cut of a cause effect review. Just 2 hours to save 15 minutes. Chuck, we might do that. Keep that in mind. I like that. Hi, Hebno.
Yes. All right, 32 of you here, which is awesome. 16 likes. That's only half of you hitting like. Hit the like button. Do it.
And the poll is Stuart.
Oh, yeah, the poll. What do you think of this episode? Cause and effect. Love it. Like it. Meh. It's okay. Was it 100% for a little bit?
It was. I liked seeing that. That was nice. So my first question to you, Stuart, before I even start sharing, is how do you feel about time loop content? Because there are some people. As the longer we've done this, the more that come out of the woodwork saying, I hate time travel stories, I hate alternate universe stories, I hate this. Time loop, it's a whole genre. How do you feel about the concept? Because if you don't like it, this one might not be your favourite. So what do you think in general?
I love this kind of aspect. I love these things. Specifically, this was directed by Jonathan Frakes. And this is a real, lesson in both directing and also editing. It's great to see the possibilities of what could be, because we know that actors do scenes multiple times, so they're used to this kind of stuff. We get different camera angles, we get different edits, we get different feels for each one, and yet some feel like they were the exact same scene, just shot from different cameras, which I'm pretty sure they were. So this is a real kind of masterclass in direction and editing, I think, and I think it really shows. And yeah, I think the time travel aspect, I love those kind of things. I love seeing the he said, she said stories, where you get it from one person's perspective, then you get it from another person's perspective. Same kind of thing, like the murder mystery with Riker, the holodeck trial. That kind of stuff is really interesting to me. So I kind of love seeing this. It can be frustrating, because it's like, oh, we've already been here. How fast are they going to get to the answer this time? But it's also very enjoyable for me, so I enjoy it. Do you enjoy these kind of things?
Well, before I forget, now, did you remember in this rewatch any Mandela effect of there being more loops, or did you remember exactly this many versions?
I thought there were more loops. I thought they came to it pretty quickly. But when you're looking at the time on the counter and you're like, okay, yeah, they got to get to it. They got to get to it. And it came together really well. But I don't just from just bad memory or Mandela affecting, but yeah, I thought there was more.
I thought there was two more when I was watching.
I thought there was more subtle changes, like subtle things the first couple times, but yeah.
Yes, indeed. Exactly. Yeah, time loop for me. I did a time loop film for university. One of my, marked degree things of an assassin who had to kill a mark, but unfortunately his time loop was limited to choices versus actual time travel. So once he makes the left or right choice, he's locked in. Unfortunately, he chose to go in to kill the guy in a way that locked a choice in, so you can only go back that one choice back to the point of him going to room to kill the guy. Unfortunately, the guy knew he was coming, killed him first every time. And so it's the story of seeing a guy that loops, realize he can't out the loop, and how he outs the. It's a whole psychological story. That's
happened to me, man. When you save a game at the wrong place with not the correct equipment, and that's the only place you can start from, and you cannot get past it because you have to go back and restart the level or the game. I've done save points like that, and that's exactly the feeling. It's
because especially if it's your life and you've lived a good life, and it's like but it's a good piece because we had to film the same scene like 12 times and iterative, and it was really interesting and fun to edit. So yeah, I do like time loops. And it's a giant spoiler, I have not yet filmed or written a time loop for Trek shorts yet, which seems ridiculous given I've made so many, but it hasn't come up. But of course, time loop is super difficult as a filmmaker and a storyteller because, of course, it's got to be interesting still. But it's the same scene because a good time loop doesn't change an ordinate amount because it wouldn't feel like a time loop. Part of the fun is a well-edited time loop where you're okay to rewatch the same extensive scene again and again and pick up the subtle differences or how they react to it. So this episode is entirely, as you said, director and editor's paradise and mosh pit, place where you can fall down. That's the thing about this. You just film it and sort of pray. It's everything else with structure of how you, whatever. So I guess why I haven't done one yet. But it's a very, very good episode. However, I will say in rewatching it, I already knew I liked it. And I already thought I knew a lot about it. Turns out there's a lot less depth in this than I remember. As in, the subtle changes are actually giant changes, and there's very few genuinely subtle changes. It's very in your face because they want the audience to be along with you. So I felt like I've already seen 85% of the plot the first time I watched it, and all the previous times. I didn't feel like I got almost anything new from this watch. You and me were looking at it as directors and photographer, like it was actually more shallow than I remember it being, but it was doing a very specific story. So I'm fine with that, of course, but I thought there'd be more, I never picked up on that. I didn't see that little thing. There actually wasn't. I was kind of surprised.
Mark Lawrence, $3. I have access to all my accounts for a rare moment. Well, then super chat us from all your accounts, Mark.
Prove it, is what he's saying.
And Terrence Child says, I would love to talk about the episode Drumhead. We did that. That was season 4, episode 21. You can go back and rewatch our review of that if you want. We are just chugging along, doing them all in order. So
yeah,
go back and check it out.
anything before this, there's a video. Enjoy! Watch our haircuts change. I mean, so what do you think about my comment there about it's less deep than it could have been? How do you feel? How do you feel when I said that?
It would have been a much longer piece. Like for a movie, I think they could have done that. But the way they kept the pacing and mixed it up enough in this amount of time, I think they did a fantastic job. So I think, yeah, if you want to make it a movie, hell yeah. I think that would be really beneficial and actually a good money saver, actually, for a movie, because, you know, it's one of those things that, you know, I said I think the bridge shot they filmed from 2 different angles, the exact same scene, and then just in one version showed this side and one version showed this side, or they refilmed it. But
well, it's tricky because you wonder what they shot just a lot in one day at the same takes, but of course you want there to be subtle changes, especially as it goes on, because of course, you know, once they're alert to the loop, they're going to react a bit differently to everything. So, you know, I'm left also wondering if we did take the footage and put them side by side, actually what was an exact redo, because if I would probably want to do them all fresh, just to kind of get that sense of, well, everyone's reacted a little bit differently, at least after the third time, right?
I just love some of the editing choices in it. Like there's the first one, you get like you're beside Data, he's out of focus, and you got Ro in focus, and she says the thrusters aren't working, and then it focuses on Data, and then the very next one, it's the exact same shot but from the opposite side. Ro's out of focus or in focus to start, and then they focus on Data. I love that, because that's, and I don't know how, when they make these kind of things, how many shots and different versions of a take they do like that to pick in editing, because it's quite interesting to see the different aspects, right? So yeah, that was cool.
Well, exactly, because of after they work out the message, that last loop, they spend a lot of time in the other parts of the ship that you had characters being pulled from that moment to go see the camera's perspective. So you went to see Picard reading, and then whatever, and then Ro, as you say. So you got a really big, broad spectrum of what was happening across, apart from those intimate encounters that Data mentioned. You never got a copy to those. But all the main scenes, you really got a feeling of, you know, all the steps. Because, you know, whatever. The only thing and this is a hell of a non-problem, but it's more of an editing choice, is that one, I think it's the third loop, when because there are rules to time loops, right? Both in logic and in sci-fi, and Beverly skips the counting of the cards. She says what they all are. He does them all out, and then Nagawa, you know, she calls in saying Jordy's arrived. But of course, if it takes 8 minutes for him to arrive, and you've cut the poker down to 3 minutes, there's no way of reality is the call going to come in 3 minutes. So I know it's editing, but the way the scene's framed, they absolutely, she called 5 minutes early, which is impossible because no one was changing anything. That's the one problem I had with all the time loops. That was an illogical thing.
I thought about it too. I was wondering how long it actually took them. I didn't time it, but yeah, it's like, and in the one she even, you know, preempts it and calls down. Is he there yet? Nope. And then he strolls in. I thought that was nice to show that.
Yeah, and it makes sense that she would work with him for a few minutes to try and see, is it worth calling, you know, the chief of medical away from her time off, because so that worked fine. But that one cut, like, that doesn't work, because everybody is always doing the same thing, except very minute shifts, except Data, the last one, so that, you know, that's why time loops are difficult. Because I was shocked how Picard was reacting at the end, how consistent they kept him. I would think that they would have directed him to be a bit more different, given he now knows what time loop and knows about the possible death, and there's a lack of reaction that I feel like, you know, from not knowing about it to knowing about it, just shows the character does not change how he reacts to a deadly situation. It's like, oh well, the experience of your personality would affect it differently, right? And yeah.
Well,
small.
He does make the point of saying, I don't think we should start second guessing ours.
Which of course is funny, because if they had just turned around the first time Worf mentioned it, they'd solve it. Like, step one would have been save the crew. problem solved, right? But there's a time loop, so they don't know about it. But they just try it once, you know.
Yeah. But he's right, though. They could have been doing it hundreds of times, and they've turned around, and that's what caused it. So they're deciding, okay, well, let's just go ahead then.
From a grand perspective, if they had, it would have been over in 1 second. Yeah. I'm just saying that like it's not a problem that's unmanageable. It's like if they just stopped or just reversed, it would have been over. Yeah. They obviously can't, but yeah, it's just funny. Like it's not the end of the world situation, etc.
Chuck A, TNG fanatic, $2. Cheers to Kelsey Grammer as Captain Bateson.
Yes. Wish he was in it more. That's my biggest takeaway. Once again, every time I see it, I'm like, more scenes than one.
Like I said, I would have loved to see their version. You know, picking up this thing, getting pulled into it, another ship, and then it comes on. I'm the captain of the Enterprise. There's no look of shock on his face. There's just like, it's not the right uniform. It's not the Enterprise. What are you talking about? Wish there was more of that. You know.
Because he would know the Enterprise.
Yeah. Oliver Lavery Frog, member for 19 months at the rank of Lieutenant. Every 15 minutes, this review starts over. No, I'm not going to do that to you guys.
Maybe next time.
But yeah, this is it's going to be a fun one to talk about.
Yeah, it's not our normal sort of review, of course, because there's a lot less going on here, but it's all raised the stakes of... Yeah, because the explosion's phenomenal. Because obviously they have to do it once or twice, and they can, Although I do think that the one thing I think
they did the explosion twice. Because the one is completely different.
Do you mean the hit or the explosion?
The explosion.
Yeah, they did the explosion twice. I was meant the nacelle hit. I wonder if they did that more than once.
No, I think they're all the exact same.
I think they are as well.
The other thing that bothers me when you were talking about the time issue. Of length of scene is when, as you pointed out, Nursegal wouldn't have called as early, and also at the end where Riker says or Data says to try the tractor beam, and then he realizes it's like you can hear the tractor beam thing go on.
Yep.
You can hear the alert. It's like the amount of time that took was way too long.
They tractor beamed it and then moved.
Yeah, I get what they were doing, but it was way too long. That bugged me a little bit because they would have collided by that point. By the time Data did all the pips and all that, and looked at it.
Well, I guess you could argue it's data speed, and data speed's real quick.
That's true.
Although, hey...
It's like Quicksilver vision.
Well, yeah, exactly. Data Silver. Although, I mean, talk about, Data's really an alive person. He's a very logical thinker. He was able to creatively think... 3 pips I see on some guy, that's a very intuitive, personal reaction. That's not scientific, that's not methodical, that's a very personal thing that he knew he would see. That's a very good option. That shows how much more alive he is than he could be.
Yeah.
It's a small thing.
And Fleetpaw throws in $2 and says, "Never fear, Fleetpaw's here." Well, thank God you're here finally.
Yeah, I was worried and scared.
Yeah, I was too. Yeah. Thank you for arriving.
We've been on the live for 3 minutes, and I thought, if he doesn't show up soon, it'll be a real problem. So Stuart.
Yeah. Yes.
As is common fare in TNG, we kill the crew in the first scene. Happens all the time, right?
Yep.
And there's no ifs or buts. It's they die. Titles. Dead. The commitment to the bit is wonderful. I don't quite think the fire effects hold up. They look a bit like, oh, you're trying a thing here, guys. Okay. Why is there fire? Okay.
Well, it's fine.
It is. And
now, have you watched the Red Letter Media where they got the Enterprise?
Yes.
I don't think it's this one. I think they got the other one.
Yeah.
Because the other explosion is just like sparks, and this one you see the nacelle cap, but the nacelle cap they show spinning is not the same one as theirs, because the one that's spinning here is hollowed out. Theirs is solid. So I don't know. I was trying to look for that too.
And that was my only other complaint. This looks incredibly like a miniature exploding. It's very poor.
Totally. Yeah. Because
there's no weight to it.
Yeah.
And the pieces of it looks like a firecracker inside a small plastic. Like, even the way the light hits the nacelles, it just looks very it doesn't
pretty cool.
Because it's like you would think it'd be like the power explosion of a warp core breach, not a firecracker. Like, it's a real lack of the Star Trek quality. And they, as you say, they had some budget left over this week. They could have done that. Would have been a lot of money for them. But this is not a very good explosion. And it's certainly... Anyway, whatever. Cue to Data's not hands. They're totally not Brent's hands, because he is not that good.
First we get the whole Typhon Expanse thing, Captain's Log. There's the Typhon Expanse. They got to explore this unexplored region. And yeah, the shuffling of cards.
I kind of wish they hadn't, you know, as you see, spoiled Kelsey Grammer. Like,
yeah, no shit.
Like, I know he's meaningless in the story, but really, is he? It's like, okay, it's like when Jerry Ryan was in Picard, and I always skip the TARS. I don't care, right? So I didn't know she was appearing. So if I had seen, everyone else knew. I'm like, oh my god! Everyone's like, she's in the TARS. Let's get the TARS. I don't want to be spoiled. So watch it and see, you know.
Well, while we have 57 people here, I want to say hit like. We only have 28 likes, so hit those like button. I want to get up to 50 likes. So thank you for joining us.
And keep watching our shorts. We've released one a day since, gosh, what day was the first one? January 24th. So we're doing many. They've got Doug, Rick, Andrew, and John. Go back and watch some very interesting little bits and bobs. I'm sure a lot of you are watching them, so go and check them out. They're very quick to watch. And you do learn, so go give them a watch.
And Dan asks, is this the remastered version? Yes, it is. So they did not enhance the explosion at all.
Well, that's not what it's there for. It's to clean up versus enhance. But yeah, this is the first real poker scene I would credit in TNG. The first one that really stands out as being they are poker players versus just they're playing a game. And it does, you know, it obviously helps that they spend 15 minutes at this game in the episode. Because it is a very long time that these actors get to sit down. And you could probably shoot all of the poker scenes in one day.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So, it is a very chill sesh for them.
I love the just the off-duty comments. Like, I hope he's not... I think he's might be stacking the deck. I hope not. Like, it's just great. It's good camaraderie.
Well, as you've said to me and other people, you know, Data's still a computer, so random is still not random. So he is still doing something. There is some algorithm, so you could probably work it out. But yeah, they're all friends, and you can tell. It is a very long first scene. I'll be honest. They probably could have shrunk it a little bit, but a scene where you need to bring tension in for bluff, you can't have fast editing. You need those slow moments of seeing people. Like, it's very important this is what the scene is, but it is a little bit too long for the first bit, because it is a relatively bland poker scene, let's be honest. It's not particularly interesting. It's okay. It's the fact that we're so invested in it that later on it has such punch is quite a bland... It could have been more punchy, could have been more data, you know what I mean? It could have been a bit more, you know. But also you're not meant to think, oh my god, it's a big episode! Except for we killed the Enterprise in the first 12 seconds, so... But I guess that's partially a choice to go from high octane to the most boring...
I mean, a lot of episodes for different things do that, where they have that, like, explosion, and then after the opening credits, it's 24 hours earlier or something. Didn't do that in this one, and good reason, but I thought that was interesting take on it, so.
Yeah.
But yeah, it turns out that Riker is bluffing, and this is a pretty cool poker game.
It could have been anybody on any ship on any show, but they do a really good job with it. And did you think he was bluffing?
But the way he was betting, that's a ballsy move.
Because and this is one thing I find laughable about poker in quote unquote the real world. They only have so many chips. One round of that, and you can kill 3 of your opponent's entire chip counts, and they can't. And then the next round, if you've only got 70 left and they're betting 60, like you can easily make a game 30 minutes. Yeah. If you play like that, and you know what I mean. Like, it seems silly. I mean, how long do poker games last? Like, just resetting what money you've got. Like, you know, like someone like that who's just betting hundreds. It just makes me laugh because, like I said, it's
That's why you get people throwing in their car keys and shit because they don't have any chips left. So,
but also funny for Worf because he's just betting with nothing, and at a certain point he's gonna have to show it. But I don't think he knows how to play poker yet properly because if he's got shit, just don't even. But I love how genuinely pissed Riker is that he lost, like legitimately pissed.
The thing is, the more cards you get, you could build a good hand, even if you don't have a good one with the first 3, right? So that's what he was waiting for. and
the common joke of, and doesn't help the Klingon. Shut up, Radar.
Yeah. And no help for the Klingon.
But I really like how annoyed Riker is, because it shows he's just not used to being... It's a very genuine choice.
Yeah. No, good scene. But... Crusher gets called away to sickbay because Jordy's there.
I love this rotation shot. Some of the angles here are just superb.
Yeah, and I was surprised that this was directed by Jonathan Frakes, actually. I think he did a fantastic job at this one.
It's either his first or his second. I believe it's his first.
Yeah. And I think, in my mind, the reason that this one is so popular with everybody is A, because it feels like you've watched it 50 times, because you sort of kind of have, even if you only watched it 3. And also, it's a very ensemble piece. Everybody has something to do.
Yep.
Deanna less so, but at least she has some lines.
She does have some lines, yeah.
And I think those ensemble piece ones, like Star Trek 4, are people's favorite because it utilizes everybody. And I think this one did such a good job of that.
That's actually a really, really fair point. And especially Beverly gets a lot. And it's really rare. And it's not... It's all about the subtlety of what she's doing. There's not a lot of, like, oh, I love you. Oh, the holodeck. It's like, no, it's gentle problem solving. But she's really good in it. Worf is all about those little lines of the poker. Riker's not in it much, but he's there. He helps at the end, etc. Poker game, obviously, that's a big scene. Data is... He feels like he's not in it until the end. He's really in it. So that works. In it throughout. Medium, but good. Picard's in it very little, but then has a few good moments at the end. Yeah,
Riker was very subtle too, but you can also tell it was directed by Frakes with some of Riker's reactions.
Yeah, he feels absent slightly from it because he's so focused on everyone else versus just in the moment.
I just like at the end where Data's like, Commander's suggestion was the correct one, and Riker kind of gives an eyebrow lift at the back, like, well, my commander.
Are you saying I direct well? What? Nothing.
Yeah.
Yes, Jordy ain't feeling good. Version 1.
Yes, dizziness.
Which I absolutely don't believe that he says, never anything like this before. You've never had a headache and dizzy in your entire life with this visor. Seriously, Jordy? That's what you just told the doctor. Ever.
Well, they checked the reports. There's been headache issues, which we've heard over the seasons, actually.
Yes.
But never a combination of the two, so that's fair.
In his entire life?
Well, as long as he's been on the ship, anyway.
No, that's
I guess.
not what he. No. That's what she was looking up for the computer, but that's not what he said. Have you ever had these symptoms before? No. It was weird. It's fine, but it reminds me.
Have you ever had a headache and dizziness combined?
Yeah. I don't remember when, because I had a long life, but I know I've absolutely had that. But it honestly reminds me of season 1 that we both didn't remember as being a scene of sneeze. Oh, a cold. We've haven't had those in hundreds. Like that level of like it's so simple, but it might have been removed, right? Now, question in the chat as well. In the UK, at least for a long time, we had fluoride, teeth enhancement chemicals put in the water as a basic standard. So we're all being sort of quote unquote poisoned by fluoride every day. But obviously it helps teeth. If in the future, part of the replicated bottled water, say, which why don't you drink bottled water, it had headache just chemicals, just like default stop drinking headaches. How do you feel about that? And you had no permission. It was just like that was default standard.
Be fine with that.
Yeah. Being drugged without you knowing or thinking about.
I don't think you. Well, like we've always talked about, the replicator is going to give you everything you need to keep it top notch. It's not going to overdo the calories. It's not going to.
Unless you tell it to.
And to keep. Well, yeah, exactly. And to keep people healthy and active.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sure things like that are included.
Well, that's what I
boost metabolism and stuff, right?
Yeah, because why wouldn't you just lace every bit of food with a little bit of something that makes you a bit strong? Like, obviously you reach a point, but that's what I'm saying. That's what why the people maybe don't get headaches, and therefore when they get it, it's more of an emergency feeling because like we are all in such good health normally because of just standard procedures that seeing anything is weird, and because headaches are so common, right? Just from living. I feel like I wouldn't mind it too much, but I want in the same vein, bounce off what you said. Could you ask the replicator to make you a, let's say, apple juice with like really, really specific positive body ingredients, and then but hide the taste?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Could it counteract its own taste profile to a way that would be chemically impossible from a just because you can always taste putting powdered medicine in a drink, right? There's something about it that just messes it up. I wonder if it could hide that.
I would think so in the future, yeah.
Yeah, I would think so too. Wow.
People are going on about migraines and how bad they are. Yes, they are bad, but I'll tell you what's worse, and I've had these. I had them years ago for about a couple months, and then they went away, and I haven't had them since, is cluster headaches.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Much worse than migraines. Well, in a different way. So, but anyway, this is not a not a headache discussion.
Well,
welcome to Medical Yards.
We're in this scene a lot, Stuart, so we're going to talk about poker and head pain several times today. Let's be brutally honest, because it's the same scene.
Speaking of headache pain, Olivia's here with
well
$5.
said.
What's the effect of hitting like? The effect is getting to see more Trekyards in your feed. Yeah. Sorry, I had to do that segue, Olivia.
It was good. I liked it. But yeah, this first one's good. It is obviously worth noting, of course, that everybody is normal except Beverly. Obviously, Jordy technically, but he doesn't know what's happening, right? Beverly's the only one that has a non-artificial sense. So does that imply that she's got something a little bit different in her body to not mention it, to notice it?
Maybe, or just people. They mentioned that people all over the ship are experience stuff, and then Picard says he thought he read the same paragraph.
Well, that was the next loop, though.
Yeah, but it's probably happening in this loop too. Is what I'm saying.
I disagree, because the fact that they all get more memory each loop, I see it more as a direct one after another. That she is like you say, 10, but I'll pretend her the voices. No one else mentioned deja vu in this loop except her.
Yeah, I know, but I think because that's just my take, but
because I just like the idea that Beverly's the first one that sees it, and then she pushes forward, and then the crew then gets more noticing. Because then it implies that this is early in the loops, or it takes this many to have some effect.
Yeah, there should be more clear answers later about this. I'd like to read a log about this, because they found out they were in it for 17 days, which is funny because all these people are now 17 days younger than people they grew up with.
Yep. It's like, do you move your birthday to reflect your age? Well, no, because that's not the day you're born, but you are now, you've gained 17 days of life, but no, you haven't because you were in stasis. Yeah, it's everyone has lost 17 days of their calendar while actually not losing. Well, imagine if like the Super Bowl happened. It's like, damn it. The one time.
And one thing I thought at the end of this was like, we're in this for 17 days? Shit, I had a wedding I had to get to like 5 days ago. But I missed it. Or something, you know?
Well, you can imagine like there was some appointment on some colony. They're like,
and
hello, are you coming, Enterprise?
And
what what I do is in 2 days. Today? No? Okay. I guess I'm not coming.
And what is Starfleet doing for 17 days? Are they like, where the fuck is the Enterprise? It'd be cool if there was another ship there that came in to like, we've been searching for you. Like, there's a lot you could add to this. Yeah. There's a lot you could add to this to make it better. But it's still really
bigger. I think better is not necessarily the right word. And I absolutely agree. It would have been super fun if they'd had the end, everything's returned, and then suddenly, like a CG exterior shot, as soon as it's back, so say it's the lack of hit, that was the thing that changed timeline, right? So you see it veer off, and suddenly like a ship phases in, and it's like, no, they're always there, it's just the barriers have reset, and it's like this, where's the hood? Fuck it, right? And then, or even if you want to be double funny, you could almost have it, if you want to get, like, say, feature film. What if then something else happens, explodes, causes a second time loop, and then a third ship appears, and you could have, like, a multi-loop without realising, and it's like, wow, it's been 3 months, and there's 14 ships waiting for us, and every goddamn loop, a new ship appears. Oh, God.
It'd be cool if there was just at the end there was another ship goes sent to look for them.
Yeah.
And it's the USS Boseman, but like the new version of the Boseman, being like a Galaxy class or something. Yeah.
Or like a nebula. Yeah. That's yeah. Yeah. No, that'd be sad. But yeah, 17 days. You know, in TOS, no one would notice because, of course, it takes days or weeks to send a message.
Yeah.
They both rely on that and don't in modern Trek, so you could either argue they were far enough away that, okay, they're busy, or the full alert's out.
Olivia Julius, though, $10.
Thank you.
Come to our Trekyards Live tomorrow. Our hidden cameras will be trained to watch what Sam does behind the scenes without him knowing. Shh, don't tell Sam.
Stuart, you want me to read that out loud?
Oh, sorry. Ignore that last message. Sergeant Montgomery is changing the subject with $2 and 3 pips. Thank you very much, Sergeant Montgomery.
Are they meant to be oranges, or do we actually have pip emojis?
They're just circles.
Yep,
They're like golden circles.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, sorry, I like that. It's clever. But yeah, I like the scene. I love Beverly. She's great. And it's fair, you know, think about how many hundreds of times Joy's come into the sick bay in 6 years. There's no windows. There's no time of day. It's always just day, right?
And I love when they're scrolling through later and it's like headache due to visor or whatever. There's a list of them. And in the earlier seasons, he's been in there a few times with the visor giving him a headache. I love it. It's all tying in. It's really good.
Yeah, but you know, it's absolutely fine that they would not, you know, not innately think time loop because we've you know, like we've done many things. Like this has not changed for either of us, more for you than for me, in a long time. So you especially forget we do episodes because you know I have to edit them as well, so I do more of it in imprints. It's like and then Deja like, done this? We have. Oh no. You know.
Yeah, I wish Jordy would have just said about the dizziness and the headache though, like 4 or 5 years ago maybe. Yeah, she would have said no. It feels much sooner than that, or something, because that would have been more realistic. I think.
Agree. But then I love the line in a later loop where he's like, "Well, you could both be getting deja vu." And it's like, how? You can't.
She says
both.
She pointed out about the same thing.
Yeah, same thing, same time. That's impossible. That's not how deja vu works. It's an internal sense. They're not linked. You can't share that. So it's a wonderful like no, impossible. Yeah.
And this is one of the scenes, the next one where she's cutting the orchids. I could swear that there was more orchid cutting in this episode, like in other loops, because she kind of does it in the next one, and then she completely ignores it in the third one. Yep. She picks up the scissors and like gets freaked out by them, like in Schisms, where they see the scissors and it's like I thought there was more of this in this episode.
What I couldn't help thinking is she actually cut the orchids.
I know, me too. I'm like, there must be another camera getting another angle for the next one to cut the same ones, because
they don't. There's no second cut. I do remember more one cut. You're absolutely right.
Yeah.
But you know, you really only see her development through the loops, which I like. Like I say, she's special, which is good for her to get this. You know, she's in pajamas, she's cutting, and then she's not cutting and goes to bed, and then not in pajamas and scanning, and then you know, it's a fun evolution.
But she looks really cute here. I like the little ribbon in her hair. She looks really good.
Yeah. And it's nice how botanical her room is, because we rarely see other people. It's the same set. They just change the not LEDs, but the light hues coming out of the wall strut things, and then what decoration. So it's nice hers is so floral. Well, I love the fact that you can clearly tell there's no glass in the window panes, just because you see stars so clearly. It's just the depth doesn't. It's a set. Yes, it is.
It's future glass. It's super clear.
Future glass, yeah. She doesn't crack it the first time. Wait, did she?
No, she doesn't. It falls and breaks. It falls and breaks. She does. But the second time where she reaches for the light, I should probably talk about this when we get there. But it's so clumsy. Like she hits the thing and then literally like knocks it off. Like it wasn't a natural knocking it off. But hey, it's fine.
Hey, it's fine.
And this one, she puts the book on top of the thing before she turns the lights out. Next one, she turns the lights out, sets the glass down, puts the book on while the lights are out, and then goes to sleep.
I didn't realize she had a book. I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Didn't even see the book. Cool.
Well, there you go.
There you go.
She hops into bed and gets woken by voices from Olivia, who says, I'll put in $5. Do you want a captain's quickie? Everyone does. No, the other type. Oh, okay. Captain Foley released a new short on his channel. This one is about Fortress Tiberius. It is.
What's that?
It is the Transforming Enterprise from the IDW Transformers crossover.
Yes.
Yeah.
What was the thing I sent you part of the reference learning for the?
What do you mean?
Many gigs of something you made me send you?
Oh, no, it wasn't about that. No.
Okay. Don't know if that was a resource.
No, might be in the future for a video on my channel, but no, not right now.
Cool.
And by the way, thank you very much for that. I appreciate you taking the time to do that.
I had to investigate as well. It's not a thing,
What is this? Very specific about season 1, what they're called.
Yeah. What is this? Where is this? Can I get it? Anyway, yes. Briefing room. The only true briefing room where things don't go awry. Every other briefing room, things go awry.
Yes. And I love this. This is procedural stuff. Like the flux spectrometers are still down for realignment. And the commander, who's in charge of all that stuff, is like, I thought those were supposed to be back online yesterday. Well, they were before Stellar Dynamics decided to install new modules. Just the day-to-days, I like it.
Well, and not just that, but there's so much bullshit of words in this. Like they invent so many phrases that mean nothing. It's really great. Yeah. But yeah, it's all hands meeting, and it's meant to be a tip-top ship, but things just happened. Yeah, it's very real feeling. Except Troy doesn't say anything, basically. And it's odd. You would think Frakes would. I know he didn't write it, obviously, and she's not. She's not actually in any meaningful scene, is she? As in, she's not in the poker. She's not in the mess. She's only in this briefing scene and
Deanna?
The bridge. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so she's not her own, sub thing.
No. And I think she would, because that would be something that would maybe affect her, right? But...
Yeah, and the entire... And you would... yeah. I mean, again, he didn't write it, but it would have been nice if she maybe had a chocolate eating scene, so she had to just eat chocolate 5 times, just cut to 10 forward, eat. I mean, that would be...
Sure, she would have loved that, yeah.
Or... I know, obviously, time, whatever, but imagine getting Guinan Whoopi for just for afternoon, have a scene in chocolate with Troy, and that's it. That's the entire scene, right? Filmed for 2 hours, and they've got 6 loops worth of cut to, It would have been such an easy one to have.
Well, you really think Guinan would have picked up on this kind of stuff?
That's what
I
mean.
Sense that they're in an alternate reality with the yesterday's Enterprise, so.
Yeah, well, her and Troy should both be more useful in this.
Yeah. Now, here's the other thing. Beverly points out that I have something to report. I heard voices, and they're like, check the comm systems and all that, because Data says no anomalous readings were reported. Yet, in the other loops, the sensors just picked up something weird. So I don't know if maybe each time loop is getting degraded slightly, and more of the veil is peeking through.
That one's out to me like a sore thumb as well. Absolutely, I totally agree with that. Yeah, because I mean, there is something to be said, and I actually yelled this out in I guess the third loop when Riker's just doing a level 3 scan or diagnostic. I'm thinking, just do every diagnostic. Just press every button. What? Scan everything. Don't just scan every wave. Don't be told to scan an EM wavelength. Scan every wavelength. Just press all the buttons. Don't be told.
I also love that they didn't have time to do that. Maybe we should have the computer run a level 3 diagnostic. Oh, there's a weird anomaly 20,000 kilometers. True. Oh, okay. Shit, we don't.
But I mean, at the start, when something's wrong, just scan. Just default scan for everything, right? That should just be the default button, right? So therefore, because they don't ever do that, it's conceivable that, as you know, there's a point I'm saying this, that when Data calls out the readings later, it's because they're actually looking for it because Beverly told them about it earlier, and therefore they were scanning for it this time around. It happened, they weren't actually scanning for it, it wasn't picked up, but then they'd have passive sensors, but maybe not for specialist things.
I also like that Worf's not here. He's the one that says there's a distortion 20,000 kilometers off the port bow or whatever, or starboard bow.
Was the first briefing? There's another one.
Yeah,
later.
I know. And later, when he's there, it's Ro that gives that information, which I thought was kind of cool. So I was like, who's going to give the information now that Worf's not on the bridge? But I mean, bridge crew, that's their job, right? So
so he's not in there for the all hands meeting. He's there when something wrong is happening.
Yes.
I just saw a different meeting, different part of the day. Because later on, they're like, sorry to clue in so early, therefore it's a different meeting.
Yeah. Sorry to wake you up before 7 o'clock, but shit's going on.
And Stuart, we've got our first poll of the live. Read it out.
I already read the poll, didn't I? Oh, it's a new one. What?
Mm-hmm. Where's our first poll of the live?
Oh. What do you think of this episode, Cause and Effect? How good is it, really? Oh, okay, gotcha. Love it, like it, meh, it's okay. Go vote.
Vote now.
22 votes, 72 people. We want to get to 80 votes if possible.
Sorry for the delay, guys, but we're busy doing the review. So
yeah.
There you go. Do the poll.
And only one more like to get to 50, guys. Should be super easy with 72 people here, so hit that like button. Let's see how high we can get.
And guys, keep super chatting. A few here and there make all the difference.
Mm-hmm. And this is like a fan favorite episode, so let us know your thoughts on it.
Indeed. But I like the chill here. You know, they do. Yeah, I had voices, a bit weird. But there's just about that. You know, I'm not crazy, probably. Yeah, that's reaction.
I thought it was a ghost, and I was all turned on. But oh, wait a minute, we're not there yet.
But we are at bad things happening o'clock.
Yes, highly localized distortion. Space-time continuum. Well, that can't be good.
And it's a good-looking anomaly. They put extra time in this week. It's got a fluid, organic feel. It's not a cloud. Yeah. It's like they could put more time into this one.
I also love Picard's acting here. Like, back us off nice and easy. Or back us off, Ensign, nice and slow. The next one, he does the exact same thing. But the last one, he's got a hesitation in his voice. He's like, back us off. Nice and slow. Like, it's a different delivery, 100%.
Yeah, that last one was definitely different.
The whole time I'm thinking, actors do this on the daily. They do multiple takes of these scenes. So this episode was probably nothing special for them.
Well,
you know what I mean?
Now, it's funny you say that. Now, I know it's not comparative exactly, but when I got the... it was a recent, but last year they released the Season 20 Doctor Who box set, which, you know, is called a Blu-ray, but the stuff is all filmed in a standard definition. They can never recover it because it's not how it's filmed, right? But what they did include to make it a meaningful special edition, which they do if they can, is the raw studio filming. With giant cameras, they just have the entire reels, all in standard definition, but it's every take, it's all the in-between takes, and yes, of course, they don't want to waste footage, but it does, you know, also the time for the editor to do a clap sync and to have everything come together. Sometimes they just leave it rolling, right? And we were watching the anniversary episode, the movie length, the 5 Doctors, just because you see, you know, not only around the takes, but also the takes. And it was super fascinating when the reality of a real production, you know, especially those days, filming after 5 is like triple pay for everybody. So they say, we're either, if we have to do it, fuck, we're screwed, or you can't do it, end of. So hard cut route. If we don't get it done, we've got to get it done. There's a pressure there that was unusual because that level of overpay. And the actors are often fine with it because I'm getting paid, you know, fine for an extra hour. So there's a bit where, and we've seen the episode or the movie, the Doctor falls down, phases out, and the companions are at the TARDIS and come back and grab him, and they don't stop the camera recording. So you see all 3 takes and moving back down and the direction. And the first direction is, we can't see your face, Peter. Fine, do it again. That's the official direction. They do it again. Another time. Okay, and then Janet, a bit more on this side. Third time they got it. It wasn't the acting, it was just they didn't quite get the positioning. Zero acting direction. Yeah. It was just, we have to get a usable take, moving on. And then, literally, they said, do it again. They zoomed the camera in, then it was a close-up. And did the close-up in the same 5 minutes. So sometimes they don't do many takes, they haven't got time. So you might think they might have this loungily, okay, 5 takes, Patrick, but if they're doing, you know, a long scene, they might only do 1 or 2 takes and move on, right? So it's not quite as depending on the day. Does that make sense? Was that worth the story?
No, it's cool, but I don't think it was worth the story.
Okay. So it'd be interesting to go on that
okay.
set and see, how much they actually were doing, because I can't imagine this was necessarily because no individual scene except the end needs to be as honed, because it's just them doing their standard, right? So how many takes? I don't know.
And Sergeant Montgomery super chats for the first time today with $2 and 3 pips. 3 is important.
I don't know. We could do pip emojis. That's really cool.
And Fleet Paw Swiftback.
Oh no, they're just yellow circles. That's cool.
Yeah, Fleet Paw Swiftback is here with $2. Never fear, Fleet Paw is here.
Look, it's 4 minutes into live. You're super late. Jesus. Be here on time this time.
Olivia Julius, $5.
Hey.
You can see Crusher at Missouri Comic Con, and you can see me. Who do you want to see more?
Neither.
Yeah. And Bandit says, now, no using the internet. Which 3 Star Trek alumni were just in the recently released He-Man Revolution? And I already answered.
Oh, yeah.
William Shatner, Gates McFadden, and John Delancey.
I haven't seen it, so I don't know. And Storm says, this is a good filler episode.
×3.
It's not filler at all.
Anyway.
Trekyards, good question. Out of curiosity, does doing these deep analysis reviews impact your ability to enjoy watching them? I noticed I analyze a lot more these days.
When I'm in the mood to review, like when I'm in the mode to review these, it's a totally different watch. But when I go back and watch them later, like months later or something with Sylvia, I'm pointing out things maybe that we learned during this or whatever, things like that. But no, I still enjoy the hell out of them each time. So
yeah, I feel very lucky I can turn it on and turn it off again.
Yeah, me too.
Because it would suck otherwise. Yeah, I feel very lucky. I can't turn off seeing shots. That's been in my brain since I've been like 15. I can more elaborate story than I used to be able to do, etc. But no, for the most part, it's kind of... Yeah, I can enjoy it without worrying too much. A few. I'll often find a thing, especially a feature, especially just like a cinema, a thing I could be grabbed and just... That'd take over my brain for a few seconds. Like, that shot was beautiful because this. That director choice, this, that's just me being a filmmaker, man.
Yeah. But the power goes out. And
except all the displays.
Well, yeah.
Main power. Except displays.
And then we see the Boseman come through, and that's a beautiful shot of it coming through with all that like ethereal light behind it.
So how they did it?
Cool.
It looks great. It's a very good, they obviously put more time in, right? I appreciate it.
But
good.
Shields aren't responding, helm's not responding, thrusters aren't responding, nothing's working. So they can't put up the shields. That's what causes this whole schmogoggle. But no reference. Look, it's a Federation ship. And that's the other thing that bothers me. Until right at the very end, it's like, oh, it's a Soyuz class. You can see it coming through. Your Federation ship.
Oh, Dayton's a Soyuz
Federation ship. Yeah. So.
And Picard would probably know just naturally anyway, because it's like,
okay,
he's pretty old. Oh.
One thing I just noticed: impact in 36 seconds. I wish I would have thought about this, but that final scene where he noticed the pips and stuff, I should time it, because there's a few times where when they say they may have a minute and 15 seconds, there's a specific episode in Voyager.
Yeah,
you got a minute and whatever, and I'm like, I actually timed it, and it was exactly right on. It wasn't like 5 minutes later, which happens a lot. So I'm wondering if that amount of time it took Data to do that is under the 36 seconds. I need to go back and rewatch it now. God damn it.
Pretty close. It made me laugh in this initial scene, which of course is the most procedural because it's the first real version, is that they say Riker yells red alert, and then he orders shields up. He knows very well that shields go up automatically with red alert.
It's just double checking.
He's not, though. That's just script writing to understand that's what happens. But you know what I mean? It's like he knows for a fact that is the default.
But red alert, shields up has been said a lot.
But he said it 3 lines apart. There was a break. There were different orders.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, together's fine. Like red alert, shields up.
Yeah, that's you confirming the default. But he did it as 2 different lines, and it's like, nope, I wouldn't do that. There's no way he'd do that. Although I love the fact that he's so... Oh, sorry?
Go ahead.
I love the fact he's so obviously at the front in a weird pose, just that we know he's there. Because it's such a fun, odd placement.
Yeah.
Right.
But Picard orders to hail them. Hailing's not working. So he asks for suggestions. And Riker says, open the main shuttle bay. The explosive reaction might kick us out of the way, which seems like an odd first choice. That's like a last-ditch effort attempt to move the ship, in my opinion. But, because that's for moving their ship because they don't have any thrusters. I guess that's actually the default that he would probably go to. But then, yeah, Data actually seems like a better suggestion. So
I just kept feeling sorry every time for Riker because Picard just moves over his suggestion like it's nothing.
Yeah.
Like, I know he's not there to make friends or to be polite. Like, he's not unpolite. It's just the way it's framed. Right, give me ideas. Go with yours.
And Bandit says you would think the ship's computer would raise shields automatically if there's any vessel too close. Yes, but the shields are down. That's the problem. That they're not operating. Nothing's working on the ship.
Yeah.
Communications, thrusters, everything are out because of this anomaly.
Although also, just I would still want the control over the shields going up. Like, the red alert button is so easy to press. That for me is the enough of a default. Mm-hmm. All the alerts, right? Yellow does deflect shields up higher. Like, there's a default reason for it, but I wouldn't want automatic because otherwise then you can argue, well, it might automatically fire on a thing if it comes close, but it's like the one time it kills a civilian ship.
Oh, any shuttle going to get in the shuttle bay. Oh, boink, shields. Oh,
yeah,
shit.
Small thing. Just I would rather get it unautomated personally because weapons and shields are quite specific.
Yeah. Matthew DeFreitas, member for 15 months at the rank of lieutenant. This episode is one of my favorites from TNG. I ran this VHS tape into the ground on rewatches as a kid. All hands, abandon ship. All hands, abandon. Yeah.
Although, especially the first time, timing is always a funny old thing, and it does feel like a very real-time episode. So therefore, I know he doesn't quite know when he's going to die, but Picard's saying evacuate 3 seconds from the explosion.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you wait to the literal last second that no one can execute that plan.
Nope, because earlier there was an order to get all hands to
I know Riker did,
escape pods.
But that was also the same minute. Neither gave enough time.
Yeah, I know. But there's procedures for that kind of stuff. You get at least some
wrong.
of the crew in there.
That was wrong. He should have ordered evacuation earlier if he was worried, and he didn't, and they all died a second later. None of them escaped.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, it's like, don't say it the last second.
Classic for real, $5. I love mystery box episodes of TNG like this and Conundrum. My favorite part is Data pointing out how many people were fucking as they were exploring. They didn't say that. They said they were being intimate.
No, romantic. Romantic. It wasn't intimate, it was romantic. Intimate would imply sex, but romantic implies dating or kissing or anything in between. And I've got more thoughts about that later as well.
Yeah.
But yeah,
damage
hits the nacelle. It's great.
And we get a damage report call. Casualties coming in from all over the ship. Starboard nacelle direct impact, venting drive plasma. So they try an emergency core shutdown. Inertial dampeners are failing, losing attitude control. They're just. Then we get all hands to emergency escape pods. We get a spin. Core shutdown unsuccessful. Losing antimatter containment. So we got to eject the engine core. Of course, the ejection systems are offline. Core breach imminent, and then we get all hands abandon ship. So they really don't have any time from the order of get all hands to.
But I would have evacuated as soon as the warp core might breach, personally.
Well, yeah. This is very quick.
It is, but try. Because he's killing his crew. Not that they can get to the escape pods, but at least, Jeff might be able to.
Sergeant Montgomery throws in $2. Can they not manually open the RCS thrusters?
Probably, but that would not give the control needed to move the ship. They're automated for a reason. Yeah. Although if also power's down, you could argue maybe the power's not getting to them either.
Yeah.
And I imagine this was fun to film. The blue light was very, very, atmospheric. But obviously the set's not moving, and they're really pushing them to move. And it works great.
It's very blurry when you're trying to get screenshots.
But Patrick, he is they are doing this all over the place, and he is therefore acting his heart out. And it's like, yeah, everyone's just. And you imagine like everyone on the bridge in the close-ups, just like Patrick's like, everyone's like, good take, Patrick, do it again, you know.
Matthew DeFreitas, which model did they blow up? They made 2 specific models blow up.
Shit, they don't blow up the
They didn't. Models. No, they. If you watch Red Letter Media, they actually bought one of the used props that they exploded. The detail is phenomenal, and they show a shot of it hanging from the ceiling where they blew it up with the camera pointing up, which is very cool to see. So,
well, they probably just bought AMT model kits and blew them up. It's just a bitch to.
Well, no, they're way too big. They were custom made, the fiberglass and stuff.
Okay, so they're probably from the 4-foot molds. They just made new ones. And they just skipped on certain things.
And classic for real, $2.
Thank
Imagine
you.
Being intimate with someone, then you explode and die. That's a good way to go, right? That was quite the orgasm.
Did you cause the warp core breach? Only in my pants.
Yeah, baby. In my pants.
But we reset because everyone dies. Again.
Yeah. Same thing. The captain's log with the Typhon Expanse. Stacking the deck.
Good different angles here. I liked this second take. It was more removed. It was less personal, which I liked.
Olivia throws in $10.
Oh, thanks so much.
Titanic sank because of a scrape with an iceberg. The D blew up because of a scrape with another starship. Technically, apparently hasn't advanced in non-scraping material. There's quite a bump to the nacelle, man. Shattered some warp coils and everything.
Yeah, it just shows you how vulnerable the most important parts of the ship are. Because yes, shields are very important.
Sometimes the smallest thing can throw a real wrench in the works.
And presumably it was a feedback pulse into the warp core. It wasn't the hit; it was the energy going into the core and going to stop it. And because the core exploded, right? It wasn't the nacelle; it was the core. Although actually,
it would have been feedback from the nacelle.
Although it reminded me, thank you, or I guess Olivia, thank you. I found it a little bit odd that every time Beverly calls out, there's damage, casualty reports across the ship, but the nacelle exploded on one side.
But that caused the ship to spin.
No,
but she said it after that.
Oh, was it after that? I thought.
Yes, it was after that. No, it was after that.
Okay.
Go back and look.
Because I feel like if it was after it, there wouldn't be enough time to report to sickbay. You can work out without too much hassle.
So the ship, the cell gets hit.
Yeah.
It explodes. And then she says, "Yeah, casualty reports getting in from all of the ship. Damage report, blah 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 blah." And then we get the poof and the spin.
Okay, so before, the nacelle, the ship gets damaged without actually being damaged by anything. Like, how's the left saucer getting damaged from the right nacelle? It's not. Well, I guess the way to justify that is maybe they're like power overload.
It could have been the feedback from the explosion from
causing
the nacelle
consoles to like explode people's faces and stuff.
In engineering, yeah.
To conduits. I just found that odd because it's a very specific damage that would not affect directly anything else directly. It's not as if it exploded like a shotgun and shrapnel, because they couldn't do that, right? It's a very controlled explosion. It doesn't affect the hull in any way because it's a model, right? Small thing, guys, but when you see the same scene 5 times, you kind of pick up on what it's not doing, right?
Yeah. So this poker game, Riker says, "You're gonna call my bluff." How'd you know? Had a feeling. So did I.
And I was shocked that they had the second loop and they already called it. That felt odd to me. I thought they were going to do one more, almost breeze through. Because they just know. Like, what did one to get it? And what a strange close-up as well for each of them. Like, really odd. As if they weren't from the same set. They had to quickly shoot this on some sort of close background because they're so abstract. Frakes
is like, "Shit, that was the first time director. I forgot a shot. I need a close-up of you and me."
Yeah.
Bring a camera.
Yeah, it's do you know what I mean though? It's just that little bit of like, did you film this properly?
Yeah.
Maybe not.
But she gets called back down to sick bay. Same thing. Jordy almost fell, got caught by an ensign.
And this is when they check the records properly. Because the first time...
Yeah, because this is when she says, have you been here before for this? I think I have.
Yes.
And then they check the records, and it's like, no, there's lots of instances of headache. What does it actually say? It's minor headache, visor overload, minor headache, visor adjust, minor headache, common cold, minor headache, visor related.
Nice.
That's cool. And yeah, this must be deja vu. Both of us about the same thing.
Kind of unlikely, Doctor / not possible.
Yeah. Here we get her adjusting an orchid, like leaves, but not cutting any.
Yes.
She's got the scissors.
Yeah.
And she's already got kind of a weird feeling. Takes a sip. And this time, she sets down her glass, turns out the light first, then puts the book on the thing. Slightly different.
Yeah, it's more of a this feels off loop.
Yeah.
Same thing, just or as if I guess because also she doesn't sing either. She doesn't hum the first time, so I guess she's not relaxed enough to hum. That's also what we're learning, or what this takes trying to tell us. Like she's not comfortable. Therefore, she's just going to bed.
Yeah, it might be more on her mind, but that was weird in sick bed.
Yeah. Because I think she says in this sleep that all day she's had a feeling, like it's repeated, the feeling has just stayed. And I mean, honestly, how many of us, if you, audience member, had deja vu for 7 hours in a row, like, can you, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's, like, what was the longest?
That'd be
red
That'd be a red flag.
What was the longest you've ever had deja vu for, do you think? Like, proper, sustained deja vu?
About 5 minutes or so.
Oh, okay, that's a long time.
Yeah, because that got me thinking, was this one of my saved game files? Like, what the fuck?
5 minutes, really? Wow.
Oh yeah, it was really surreal.
I assume that was like the one that was absurdly long. Everything else has been kind of the 1, 2. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you?
But sometimes it's like a 30 seconds to a minute, a minute and a half of a conversation. Even.
Yeah.
Like, this is weird. So.
Did you? This might sound a stupid question. Did you use the superpower to try and do something that you knew was going to happen? Like, did you throw a dart and hit the middle because you knew it was going to happen?
Did I try to change it? You mean?
No. Did you try and prove that you were seeing real by throwing something and feeling as if like you knew instantly that was going to happen?
No.
Because that would be so weird if it's like my first ball's like got it. It worked.
But when I heard the same responses from people that I was kind of expecting, I was like, next thing I say when it's going to be different. So, and then it ended the deja vu. So I don't know if I saved my life, what the heck happened, but
I think mine was about 2.5 minutes, which is fucking long. I remember once in a geography class at school, it was they're always weird, right? But it was the most unusual standard dealing with my lecturer. And then some guy after my right said something that was not at all remotely linked to the subject. I knew it. I knew you were going to say that. And the lecturer chastised him and said, I knew you were going to say that. And they were like, what are you on about? But nothing of it was normal, so I couldn't have known it.
Yeah.
And it was very... I mean, I love deja vu. It's a phenomenal feeling. It's so interesting. But it
was a similar instance with me where it's like, what was just said has nothing to do with what's going on. That was really weird that I would remember that.
Yeah. That's
what drew my attention to it. We would probably have deja vu all the time and don't really realize it because everything's flowing exactly as it should for that scenario. But
because also when it goes on long enough, when you think you have it enough to try and interact with it, that's when it gets bullshitty. Because it's like, I knew, and I look at you, and then you said a thing, but why did I look at you unless I knew you were going to say it? That's when it gets trippy.
And Fleetpaw says he's had deja vu working on the lives before. Well, to be fair, we repeat a lot of things, so.
Yeah, we're not funny enough to have more one joke.
Classic for real. $5. One thing this episode needs, though, Picard interrupting Colonel O'Neill in the middle of his backswing before sending a golf ball into the warp core.
And you get that now?
I do.
I'm so happy for that.
I do. That's the episode you made me watch that got me like, I really need to check out all of Stargate now.
And not to be insulting, but that's a better episode than this one. It's got a lot more in it, and the characters are better, because Troy isn't in this. Jordy's doing his job. Everyone in that one is doing their unique thing, and it's funny. This one's very good, but that's significantly better, I think.
Yeah, I would say it's better. Yeah, for sure.
But that's just because it's an exceptional piece, not because it's bad. That's exceptional.
Yes. And this is where the knockover of the glass is very clumsy. She hits the button and then like flails her arm for some reason. It's just, it was a bad take. I think they should have redone it. But hey, and there's no way that glass with that thickness of glass is going to make that shattering sound on that carpet.
It's future space glass. Replicated to be stronger.
Yeah, it's thick. It's a thick glass. It looks very dainty.
Oh, it's
but
like
if you look at it's quite.
It's like last week I accidentally dropped something in the kitchen that was like glass that I was convinced was going to shatter, and it bounced.
Yep. And
it was on a like proper floor, and I was like, just for whatever reason, the angle wasn't right for it to die. And I was like, that should have cracked. Sometimes, things are made better.
And the shattering sound does not work with the carpeted floors. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah.
But hey.
But speaking of hey, Picard, do you get the sense at some point in this he's thinking, am I in here? Because sex can make you go to sleep quicker. There's something in his eyes that twinkles that to me.
Yeah, and she looks really cute. She's still got the ribbon in her hair. She looks really good in this scene.
Yeah, she's like sexy uniformed, trying to be that. Because he's so into it. They're so in a friendship mode. It's so unlike him, but he's totally thinking, I don't think it'd help you sleep, Doctor. it's guys,
a little dose of my Aunt Adele and a lot of dose of Picard. Pure injectable, baby.
Do you like the Enterprise D or you like my Enterprising D? Tomorrow we go where I've been before and made Jack Crusher. What? Beverly Crusher, no. Well, Wesley Crusher. But who else thought that? Because it's a very, if you think that way, it's very obvious. But it makes sense for these two, right? This is like 4 a.m. He can't sleep. Everyone's in bed. He's in his ready room. He's just hanging out. He's probably had a tea with booze in. She's come to him. Is he hanging?
And the night bridge crew sees Beverly go in there, and they're like, yeah.
Or she beamed in. There's no one to see her go in. Ooh.
Yeah. Gates always look good on TNG, says Ray. She does, but she looks particularly good in this scene. I don't know.
Well, she's trying to be cute. There's a certain something. It's performance, right?
Yeah. But yeah, she gets the milk with the nutmeg, and they talk about deja vu. And he's like, "Oh, well, actually, this book. I thought," and I'm like, "You're a prolific reader, Picard. I'm sure you read this book bazillion times, but whatever." So he thought he had read it earlier in his life, and so he's going to do a shipwide diagnostic and make sure everything's fine. And we'll talk about it at 1700 hours tomorrow morning at the briefing.
Yeah, it mildly stands out that but it would have been fine if he said, I bought this book recently at Aldebaran 6. I assume that's what he's implying, because there's only so much room on your ship.
Or I just replicated this one.
Yeah, well, yeah. Although he likes vintage, I assume it's a real book.
Yes. Ray Lavi throws in $5. Great episode. Braga's best on TNG.
I don't know the rest of his specifically.
I'm sure it's up there. Like I said earlier, this is a fan favorite, and I think there's a lot of reasons for that.
He also wrote. He wrote 69 apparently. So it's a rather lot of episodes. He wrote Cupid, Drumhead, Mind's Eye, Darmok. Although, okay, it's including Staff Writer. Okay, that's not useful, is it? I want actual writer. Okay,
Cuck Lloyd. Sorry for being off topic, but rest in peace, Carl Weathers. Yeah, Carl Weathers passed away, unfortunately. So no more of him in the Mando. Sad.
We're so used to people dying in the 80s, 90s, and that feels super not old.
Yeah.
But no, it's a good little scene. Great chemistry, and Picard is acting it. I mean, honestly, out of character, as you would have complained like a week ago. But it's in tone. It's just out of character. It's just not. But again, he's with his old friend. It's at 2 a.m.
Yeah. So at the meeting the next morning, they say again, as far as the sensors are concerned, nothing unusual happened last night.
You're lying, Dates. You're lying.
And no evidence of auditory anomalies. So, but then Worf is not here as well for this one.
I don't even remember this meeting. I'll be honest. This one entirely skipped my mind.
It's very short. It's very short.
Yeah. Back on the anomaly.
20,000 kilometers off the starboard bow.
Starboard bow. Starboard bow.
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
I mean, this one is very much a waiting for them to die one, right? This is nothing is super different here because nothing.
Oh, we got to point out too that each time when the ship comes through, Deanna says, "We got to get out of here now." Each time, and Picard gives her a look like, and then right back to the. Like, why does she say that though? What? Unless she's sensing everybody else's deja vu moment of this is a bad thing.
I mean,
I don't.
It's just something to say, isn't it?
Yeah. Just his reaction to her, though, the way he looks at her is like, the fuck you just say?
I've got 36 seconds. Why are you butting in?
Mind your business.
Or do your job and help.
Actually, she says it right before the ship comes through, so maybe she's starting to sense the other people on the other ship.
She's not a nonce character, unfortunately, so her powers are not addressed. But they blow up in the same way. Or they get to see a cool interior shot of the ship spinning. It doesn't quite work, but you know they're trying to do that. And the fire again, and they kabloo.
And then commercial.
And
I love that people were messaging the TV stations. What are you doing? Starts with an explosion. Did you start halfway through the episode? What's happening? But each opening establishing shot of the captain's log is a different angle, so it's worth pointing that out.
I think 2 are the same.
2 are similar, but not exactly the same, I don't think. But yeah, there's some that are.
Because they've got so many stock shots, right? Like,
yeah.
Which actually are part of why.
But this is the different explosion out of all.
This one is for some
reason. They show it once because it's not that good. It's not as good as the other one. There's no bits flying everywhere.
Well, the sparks feel like just the scale they are, right? There's no weight at all, and there's next take though, she's able to guess everyone's cards to the point of not having to draw, which is kind of fun. And this is the one where she actually skips the entire scene, and yet Nurse Ogawa calls, which she can't do in that time. So this is the one that doesn't make sense. Oh no, that's one before that. Damn it, repeating.
That was the one before that. Yeah, this is the one. Well,
my complaint for back then.
Yes. Sergeant Montgomery, $2. 8, ace, queen, 4, 10, 7, queen, 9, jack, 4, 2, 6.
Oh, it's three
pips.
Didn't I do pips?
Wonder what that means. Why are you always putting 3 pips? Is that important? Is 3 important? I don't know. It
says yellow circle. That's cool. That's something good. Hey, keep in mind, guys, you can now do pips in the chat. That's really cool. I like it.
But yeah, this is actually a weird, like, supernatural kind of scene because they start calling the cards queen and then jack 4, and then it looks like Riker's hypnotized and he's like deuce 6, and then Worf goes on, and it's like, okay, and Data's just sitting there. He doesn't fucking know. He doesn't have intuition or deja vu. He's just like, that's highly improbable. No shit.
Yeah, that's what I liked about Data in the before the last loop. He's actually oblivious to this because he's not able to deal with this. So it's fun to see. Yep. He's just simply like, it's improbable, but he might be thinking he's being punked, right?
And Sergeant Montgomery, no, they don't have 3 of a kind this round. That's the next one. Fleet Paw. Oh, Fleet Paw's arrived with $2. Never fear, Fleet Paw is here. 13
minutes into the live, and you're always so late. Get a better watch. But thank you. Good to be here.
So Beverly calls down to sickbay. Is Jordy there? And the guy was like, nope, he's not here. Oh, wait. He just came in. Weird.
Yeah. And she plays it so like, oh, that's weird. It's so chill. I'm glad she actually got a visible performance, because often you're like, wow, I got brought in on Thursday to do a voiceover line. Cool. But yeah, he should be on screen. That's something nice. For once. But yeah, and then obviously we're on to Jordy. I do think...
Oh, there's a new poll up, guys. What do you think of this episode, Cause and Effect? How is it really? Does it live up to the hype? Love it, like it, meh, or it's okay. And I'd like to take this moment to also say, hit the like button. There's 64 likes. We want to get as high as we can with 70 people here, so hit the like button.
Yeah. And sorry, guys, for the late poll. We just remembered it. But yes, vote now if ever hold your peace. I do think Riker's a bit overacting this in a little bit.
Yeah.
And considering he's directing himself. And it's very subtle, and this is me confirming. This loop, for no reason, Picard's wearing his normal uniform. In a later loop, in the same scene, he's wearing his Darmok
jacket. Yeah, I noticed that too.
There's no reason it would have changed at all, because he's not affected in a meaningful way beyond this. That is just, I guess, they shot Patrick a different day and he's wearing a different costume, because there's no reason to be in a different uniform.
Yeah.
I just think
or he's just ending his shift here. He goes and changes into the other one to go to his ready room to read, because he's wearing the gray one in the last one when she went and visited him.
But this is the same scan. He bumps into the same scan when he has it. That's the point. This is the same scan at the same time. I guess it's maybe like 10 minutes early, 5 minutes earlier, because they went to find the gal earlier.
Because she called earlier.
But it's going to be like minutes earlier, right?
Like you said, when Jordy would have came in, talked to Nurse Ogawa, she would have scanned him and goes, "That's weird. Seems like you have an ear infection, but you don't. I'm going to call the CMO. Call Beverly." So it'd be a couple minutes there.
But minutes, right?
I know, but it's close to the end of the shift. Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe
they're all off duty. They were already playing poker. Picard's probably been off for a while. And
that is interesting.
He was just down in 10 forward chatting with Guy.
But I can't imagine they thought as actors, like, let's swap him out to show he's now off duty. Let's wear a different uniform. A different uniform. But yeah, that vaguely works.
And Trent, I don't know. He says, "I've been trying to super chat, but it keeps going in a circle. Not sure what's going on. Might have to restart your device. That's been a problem before. I don't know."
Well, we hope you can, because they do help the channel a lot. So, good luck. Good luck. We're all counting on you.
But yeah. So she asked Picard, "Have you had any feelings like deja vu?" He's like, "Yeah, actually." Yeah, so I think the reality of this time loop is breaking down, because it seems like each time more things are getting through.
Because I just get the sense that more people in the crew are realizing.
Here's where she says too. There have been similar incidents reported all over the ship of deja vu now.
So I think because you assume even if the grander elements of the plot aren't changing, if more people are sensing weird things, and if you then delay doing an action by 30 seconds because you're confused, it'll ripple down between everybody just a bit. That's why I kind of wish they're a bit more performed differently, especially when they have that like 7 a.m. meeting, as you said, like that level of lack of sleep. Yeah, what were they all doing ahead of time?
Yeah, thanks, Trent. He's going to try restarting and be back.
Good luck.
Ray Labby, though, $5. Great episode. Braga's best on TNG.
I don't know. Let me go look at his IMDb.
I mean, it is a fan favorite for a reason, right? Like,
but he probably did quite a few.
I think he did Drumhead, if I remember correctly.
My big question is, what does he write himself? Because they always give you like if you're a staff writer, for example, what do you actually write yourself? Obviously, if you then look at TNG season 1, it's like, oh, written by this person. And Gene Roddenberry rewrote it at the last minute. Like, that happens as well.
Yeah.
And my internet's not even working right now, so I can't even tell you. It's just getting a bloody white screen of death. So I can't tell you what Brandon Braga did or didn't do. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, sorry.
Anyway, she goes on to tell Picard she had a premonition that Jordy was going to be in sickbay, and then he showed up. And she thought she'd do this more in-depth optical diagnostic because she figured all the other things would just come back normal. So they traced it to his visor. It turns out his dizziness is being caused by phase shifts in the visual receptor. Seeing images that aren't there, like blurry after images. So,
which would have been cool if they'd used that in some way. It's obviously fine they didn't, but it would have been kind of cool had they.
Yeah. And then it's minuscule distortions in the surrounding Dekion field.
Not tachyons, Dekions. But it's cool.
Those are 10 times better than it's a Deki, like a decade. I'm just saying.
Dodecahedron, yeah. But it's a proof, right? It's a tangible thing that lets them all skip the "Are you okay, Doctor?" So it ever been you and me in control of the Enterprise?
Mm-hmm.
Where's the proof of the rest of the crew?
Classic for real, $2 just because having crappy day until this live. Well, I'm glad you're having a better day now that you're on the live. I'm sorry you had a crappy day, but thank you so much for the support and the super chat. We appreciate that. Hopefully we can cheer you up a little bit.
You do best. Yeah, hope you're having fun. And do vote on the poll, because we really want these polls to be, appreciated and voted on. It means a lot. And in this version, it's the most different because she's now not going to bed. She's just waiting until the time, which is interesting because she's then remembering there's a time to wait for, which is new.
Yes. And she decides, while I'm waiting, I'm going to cut my orchids.
No.
And she grabs the scissors and pulls them up to cut. And no, I'm going to go sit on my bed and wait.
It's still in full uniform and no bow. And then the drink. And if you note, and this is really weird, on the box, there's a tricorder sticker sheet.
Yes, there literally is. Yep.
Like, it's clearly stuck on because you can see it's on a plate. It's a.
Yep. You can see where the display screen's supposed to be.
I'm assuming it's meant to be a stunt like box that is in the distance where it looks like they want to put a real tricorder there.
It's her medical gear, right? It's the case she closes and carries her medical gear.
So that should be a tricorder, right? Not a tricorder
Sure.
sticker.
Probably.
It's just such a hero shot of the sticker set. It's just really weird.
I never noticed that, but that's fucking hilarious because you're right. Fleet Paw throws in $5. I feel like I've announced my presence already. Have we done this before today? It feels off, like deja vu. Are you two affected?
What do you mean? You said... What did you say last? No fear. Flip. You always say that. Every live.
Yeah, it's like very deja vu.
I was about to say stop doing so many lives, you won't get deja vu, but you keep being here, obviously, but... I mean, you just do it. Yeah?
This one's unique because she does put her glass on the other table because she knows it's important. And turns off the light. And then records. I thought she was scanning, but apparently she was recording, which is fine. The sounds. And this is the odd part, because remember, sensors didn't ever pick up anything before. I don't know if Jordy was looking because... Oh, he was, actually. Because before he left sickbay, Picard ordered a full scan of whatever while you were doing your thing. But she calls down, and we get confirmation that there's actually... Sensors picked something weird up. And she's like, yes! So she grabs her coat to rush out, and she knocks over the glass, which again shatters.
Yeah, it's one of those things that you're obviously thinking, is that going to happen? But it's a fun little fate is set for the audience. Doesn't matter what you do, the end result will be the same. Even if the steps to get there are different, the end result's still going to be the same. So that's a nice harrowing moment. But of course, if she'd not even taken the glass out of the cupboard, probably would have shattered, right? That's where the loop would have got. The more radical changes would have led to it. But yeah, I love how she scans it, and it's so blatantly, and it's like it's nothing, and then it isn't anything, and then they have it, and it's fine. It's like, oh, okay. And it's weird because nothing's causing it, as Dave says. Like, it's not made from anything. It's not It's just. I mean, you've seen Red Dwarf. That first season episode where they say, has there ever been a spontaneous event? And yes, the mayor of a town in Switzerland combusted one day for no apparent reason, and one day it, rained fish for no reason. Like, it's just for no reason. There's just sound in quarters. Like, it's not made by anything. It's just spatialness, fancy sci-fi. It's cool.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Now, I noticed this bothered me too. The turbo lift behind Data, which is not a turbo lift in other episodes, it's got the sticker is all bubbly. It just looks bad.
Probably why it was made a Jeffrey tube after that, because the sticker was bubbly.
Yeah.
And,
but yeah, they rule out communications because no messages are being sent, nothing like that. And then they got 6 seconds of the recording, so they play it and they play it over, and Data distinctly hears 1,000 voices, which is the entire crew of the Enterprise. And yeah, pretty cool that he can do that.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting, because obviously the joke is he's a computer talking to a computer, right? Who's faster? Well, it is still the computer, but he can just process it in real time. It's quite hell of an ability.
I just hate how this is written. There are approximately 1,000 voices overlapping. The voices are those of the Enterprise crew. Our voices. No shit. Thank you for clarifying. Like letting too much air out of a balloon. Thanks. You got it.
Look, this might be the most talented and professional crew in the Federation, but shut the fuck up, it's a script. Yeah, it's... I mean, they were expecting people to be less smart back then, right? That's a slight,
They needed Riker down in engineering for that scene, so that Data could have said, the voices are those of the Enterprise crew. And he would look at the camera and go, our voices. Because Riker does that a lot. He simplifies things for the audience.
Well, because he's used to dealing with, a group of simpletons, the crew.
Now, the next scene's interesting, because this is an early briefing. Sorry I got you up so early.
It's different.
It's before 7. We couldn't wait till 7. And notice that Riker and Troy come in together. What were they doing that they were coming to the briefing at the exact same time early in the morning?
I mean, their quarters could be next to each other on the same deck. They both got turbo together.
Oh, probably. But come on, I was trying to imply something.
Oh, you meant... Wait. You don't mean...
They were part of the intimate voices that...
No. You don't mean they were playing Monopoly, do you?
No. I meant that they were doing other things.
Jenga?
Yes. Kerplunk. Oh, geez, that gives me meaning to... Anyway.
Didn't notice that. But yeah, now this is where, everything should be different from a conceptual point of view. They've now changed... and of course, in all these stories, the amount of time you have is very, very, very important, because obviously, we've only got this many minutes until we loop. Thank goodness we actually have new time. We can actually now make progress. Modifying data will take as long as it takes as a non-negotiable length of time, etc.
And Worf is here this time because this is an important briefing. That's what it was called early. So, but yeah, we got confirmation. Somehow we've entered what seems to be a temporal causality loop.
Confirmed.
Specific fragment of time that's been repeating over and over again. So,
yeah.
We have no idea how long we've been in it. It's worth pointing that out.
Could be a real long time. Although it's not as long as it could be.
Yeah.
Given they're doing 1 day and night cycle-ish. So
yeah,
they've probably only done it sort of 15, 16 times maximum. Which actually isn't that bad.
Could have been trapped here for hours, days, maybe even years.
Yeah, exactly. But I like the graphic they have as well. It's a really good, simple visual. I mean, it's a good briefing. These guys are just true consummate professionals, right? This is like, well, damn, okay.
So here's...
How do we stop it?
Yeah. So here's Data saying most of it's quite ordinary. 150 discussions about ship operations, 252 conversations of a personal nature, 5 couples engaged in romantic encounters. I love how Picard's just like, your point, Mr. Data. It's early.
Now, my problem with this, and I'm sure there's a reason around it, or just shut up me, right? But what they are listening to is the Beverly recording of the thing that she will have 6 seconds. That's what she said.
Yeah.
So it's the 6 seconds that Picard's saying, "Abandon ship! Abandon ship!" How many people are still doing things in the 6 seconds of abandoning shipping at red alert? So nobody should be intermittent counting at that point.
Well, they just said a dialogue a line or two ago that it's overlapping from like previous loops, so it could be like multiple days worth. It's not necessarily that specific destruction of the ship moment.
But then there's 1,000 people. If you had 1,000 people,
there's 1,000 people are not going to be awake at night, so it could be the day and the night worth all kind of interlaced, and
yeah, but
it could be more. It could be more than 6 seconds worth of dialogue, or it could be from different points in the day.
But it can't be more than 6 seconds of recording, because that's very exclusively all she got.
I know.
That's the dumb script thing that's stopping me from...
But it could be sped up, because it's a time thing, so maybe it's like... And he can hear that, because he's an android. I'm playing devil's advocate.
I like that, although it's interesting, yeah, you're absolutely right about how many people are awake. If only 400 are awake, then him saying 1,000 people... And then, who was in the team? So Beverly saying, the Enterprise crew, and then Joy's like, no, only 400 only ever awake at any given time. Then actually would need clarification it's the crew, because 1,000 would not be the crew, because 1,000 are never awake at the same time.
But if it's the day and the night leading up to the explosion of the certain reset point, it's the whole time. Then it would make sense that everybody was awake and then they're sleeping. And
but the idea that you can zip, you can win RAR, you know, 1,000 people's conversations over one day in 6 seconds randomly is what? Like there's this
temporal distortion. It could lengthen it out. It could shrink it down. It's fine.
It's fascinating, and you're certainly reaching, but I like the reaching. It's good.
That's what we do best. We explain the holes in Trek with like.
Is your name Jack?
No, why?
Because you're reaching.
The reacher. I'm an ass though, so maybe.
Jackasser?
No, just jackass.
Okay.
This
is fun. This is stupid. Okay, but yeah, things, and we can help. We should do something this time, and give
because they were so close to the temporal rift when the explosion happened. That's what got them caught up in this loop.
Yes. They exploded and caused a shatter in time because of the explosion. So if they don't explode, they're fine. Which is good. We got concrete, this is why. But it gives you a distinct way of doing that in, say, a fan film. You know, have another explosion, or you can even form it. Actually, would that be interesting? I mean, that was kind of cause and effect, right? The guy did it on purpose. But imagine if you could find a way of sending a signal to yourself in every loop. Because if you went in with a device that could pull information from what Data did, like deliberately, then you could send yourself a message every single time to explode a thing near an anomaly, get another loop, and then you could do that.
This reminds, now that you started talking about that, it reminds me of the Discovery episode, Magic to Make a Saineth Man Go Mad.
One of the best episodes.
Yeah.
Although I say that about it'd be useful for a guy to do that, say, but it's not, because he's not actually looping time, he's looping local time. So you're not gaining anything, you're just resetting your physical. So if you want to like murder your wife, and then that would be useful because then that resets, but it would not be like...
But if it takes you 17 days to do that correctly, like Mud had to go back multiple times, and if it's just localized,
but
then you're literally 17 days older than everybody
Was
else.
that all of time or localized in Discovery? No,
I'm not sure. I think it was localized, but...
I don't think they ever mentioned it.
I don't think they did either. You need to go back and watch
Do you even think they thought about it?
Go figure. They didn't add those little subtle things that make it...
Yeah.
But this is where Worf suggests perhaps you should just reverse course.
And if they did it...
Well, I know. But also the train of thought here is beautifully laid out.
It is.
Because Riker says maybe reversing course is exactly what leads us into the crash. To which Picard says, no, we can't afford to start second guessing ourselves. We'll stay on course until we have reason to change it. Perfect.
Although you would think that if you're confident you've done a loop several times, doing new things would be useful. Because they actively know for a fact they did not know it was a loop in previous loops. So anything based on the new information that's a loop should be worth a try once. Now, of course, that could be tried multiple times, but
you have to relearn it all again for the next loop. So
you would,
as they just said, they're not sure how many times they've had this conversation.
But it's a scientist. You need new information. So by trying something new.
Well, that's why they suggest the Dekion emissions to kind of pass information to the next loop. So this is our first attempt at actually doing this. Maybe let's go forward.
Well, that's why
pass the information on, and then maybe next time we'll go backwards.
Well, that's why this being a movie would be interesting, because the way that Crusher says in the last loop, "Do you get the feeling done before?" No, that's a new precedent that they can actually sense it in a short.
That's the next scene. Yeah.
Well, indeed. So therefore, they could have used that logic if it was a longer piece to actually try things. So then, at a certain point, you'd say, "Let's not do the thing we were going to do in any decision making. Let's always do the non-standard." Because even if we didn't do the standard the first time, we would not do the radical, because there is a book to follow. Because we'll always do this, and this first, therefore do the non-first things first. Yeah, sorry, I know we're overthinking it, but that's all the point. So.
Yes. So yeah, they decide they're going to pass on a message, just maybe a couple characters, whatever, to the next loop.
It's very clever.
And yeah, and they use Data's positronic as a subconscious thing.
Only way they can do it. Like, they need to physically send super limitedness, and it'll be subconscious too. He won't know.
Yeah.
And they can't even say how it'll manifest. They have no idea. It's just something.
Or whether he'll be able to make anything out of it.
Yep.
When he does receive it.
Yeah.
But I do like the next scene where they're setting up the emitter and all that, and she's like, "Do you have a feeling you've done this before?" "Nope, me either. Maybe that's a good thing."
Yeah.
Like, yeah, that's great.
Because you need that as a bit of context, because that means they would eventually get out of it. They are able to build up some semblance of sense.
And if we're right, and each loop is degrading to the point where people are remembering more, do it enough more times, and maybe another 17 days, and you can like wake up going, "Oh shit, it's this day again." Okay.
Yeah, they walk into the briefing room and say, "No, yes, no, yes, yes." Right, we're out, and you've skipped.
Let's try that other thing we talked about last time.
Yeah.
This time.
Yeah, and in fact, it becomes like a sense perception where, like, you're walking into a room. It's like, if I remember walking into this room I did last time, okay, I'm gonna walk into this room instead. Okay, this is new. It's like a minefield of knowledge. Like, okay, I didn't press warp. No, okay, we're trying it. We're trying warp drive. Oh damn it! This next. Oh no, I sense I pressed the button. I'm gonna do a different button. Like, you can do it with, cause and effect, trial and effect, the long way around. Poor them.
Yeah. This time, Ro is the one that says there's a distortion 20,000 kilometers off the starboard because Worf was with them. Nice subtle little thing.
I will say her lack of presence in the script surprised me. She is absolutely unimportant in any meaningful sense. You'd think that they paid more to bring her in. Doesn't do a single thing in the plot that's meaningful to her. And I was surprised. I thought she'd have something to add. She's the most glorified extra paycheck in this episode. But obviously, if you don't see her, then her loss in future episodes won't mean anything. But she doesn't add anything to the story at all. Bit weird. So I'm just weird.
So all the same shit happens here, except when he says, "Back us away," he delivers it different. But they were just talking about it, and this is the weird thing that's happening. So I think he's starting to second guess himself whether I should be saying this or not. So I kind of like that.
But I would also think, if I was him, that we know, because he's heard himself give the order. He's heard now the message or the what happened last time.
Just ask Data. Can you go back 5 seconds before that and tell me what you?
Well, that's also fair. If they have the recordings, they should be able to work out. That already tells you there's no like. They can't have the entire mission, and in fact, if they had more than 6 seconds, this is the one scene. If it takes place under 2 minutes, they have the entire scenario laid out. So they must have only had those last 6 seconds, which again ruins. That ruins it.
It doesn't ruin it though, because it still could be scattered over a couple days. Just 6 seconds from it's a time anomaly. It could be.
So you mean from
the
6
beginning
seconds
of the loop, just
from 17 say loops. So it's a random 6 seconds. Okay, that's interesting. Although Yeah, so it's an echo that every time it layers on itself. But I don't know why it would be a different 6 seconds.
Don't know.
Don't
But
know.
there could be some explanation for it. We're not scientists. We're not time scientists. We're YouTubers.
YouTube
And
scientists.
Sergeant Montgomery throws in $2 with a Lieutenant Commander pips. This time, thank you.
Oh, that's cool. You can do pips. With a black one. That's cool.
Yeah,
That's
cool.
that's like a Jordy. That's cool. Is he not able to do 3 gold pips? Because in the story, it's 3 gold pips that Riker is the big thing. Yeah, someone try putting 3 gold pips in, because I maybe won't let you. Huh.
We aren't time surgeons. Exactly. So, same shit happens again. Boom, baby.
Same shit, same day.
Nothing works because it's the Enterprise and it's a glass cannon.
Riker gets flung off to the side again and leaves frame. Again.
Yeah, we only saw him land once, and that was the first time.
Mm-hmm.
It was pathetic. It was pathetic, by the way. That's why they probably didn't bother re-showing it.
Nope. And then at the absolute last second, the most calm of calm robot.
That's a lot to program in for 3, but hey, it's fine. He's doing fanciness.
He can move quick. It's fine. And then they die, and it resets. Now I remember there being more. We're already near the end, right? But this is basically at the end. Which confused me.
All right. Yes, so Worf. Oh yeah, you pointed this out last time. I just forgot to mention it. Worf is experiencing Nepoch, which is Klingon deja vu again.
I really like. This is when remind me. They have lots of very long shots in this episode. To help play with time. So this is another one. As you scroll and you see how they haven't cut to make you experience it with the actors. And in fact, it's all one shot. It is, yeah. So the entire last thing in one shot. And I'm speeding through it, but I mean, that's great.
Yeah, she calls the cards and they're wrong. They're all 3s. And then they try it again, and it's all 3 of a kind. So 3.
Which I was definitely wondering, how are they going to do a second? Because you'd have to have the idea of 3 so much that you notice it. So the idea of having a 3 of a kind, you're gonna notice it. That was a good. That was a good shout.
Same scene. Have you had these symptoms before? Nope. Let's go check. Must be deja vu. About the same. Both of us about the same thing again. And she has a hunch. She's like, "Be careful. This pulse might be a little bright."
Yeah. It's kind of weird to go backwards and see the scenes that you missed from other loops.
Yeah.
Because it felt like deja vu, but like a clip show of new clips.
Yeah. And
Well,
then
I
we
like
finally
that.
get.
That was fun.
And then we finally get the Picard realizing that he's reading the same paragraph because he checks the book, and then he gets called down to sickbay. That it's urgent.
In a different uniform, even though it's the same thing at the same time, probably.
Yeah.
It
But he put
stands
his
out like a
jacket
sore
on.
thumb, because like, why are you different? Why are you in this crappy looking? I mean, good looking. Looking uniform. Back to engineering though, and then Data 3's the computer. Although he scans. Data 3's for all the scans. That seems impractical and logical. It's like, yep, it does, because it is. Yep. Yep. Doesn't work.
But 3, it's important.
3 is a magic. And he doesn't. And no one at any point in this episode says, Data, are you messing the computer up? Is this you? No one ever says that. I mean, it's unimportant in the grand scheme, but it's like.
And yeah. After he's done that and they're talking about it, then we get a Dechion field fluctuation on Deck 9, Section 28. And then we get Beverly calling down saying, "I've heard voices in my room."
But Stuart, they can't detect these things. They said that in previous loops.
I know.
But Stuart, they detected it.
But they were there this time. I don't know. Same with the last time. They were actually, Picard ordered him to run scans, so they were scanning actively at the time.
Sure.
And then this is not how communicators work.
Oh.
She's like, Yeah, he's like, sensors just picked up something strange. We're checking it out. She's like, I'm on my way down. Pause. Shattering glass. Are you all right?
That is a fair point.
After you say, on my way down, communications are cut off, because that's how it always happens 99.7% of the time. But this time, the comm channel was left open.
So, yes and no. And actually, Picard did the exact same thing a second ago. He gets called and doesn't click his comm badge. Because there's
do it all the time on the ship, though.
Because there's two ways, yeah. You're either being called by internal comms or communicator. But you can be called via the communicator with internal comms. Because, of course, it's just piping through that. So you're being called by the room. So if Beverly is talking via communicator and forgets to click off, it would still be on. Only via the comms is it still on. Just saying. That'd be the easy caveat out. Because you have to click that.
Well, earlier she didn't tap her comm badge when
but maybe in this loop she did.
Nurse Ogawa said, Dr. Crusher? She just said yes. She didn't tap her comms.
Yeah, so, like I say, both are true. It depends. Because one is to access it off the ship, but you can still use it inside the ship.
Then we get an upper shot from the briefing room. Very rare shot. Same thing. We get the three important sections of the recording. It's
otherwise known as the "Screw You, Dr. Picard" shot. Do you know why?
No.
Because carpet.
Yeah.
I see the carpet, Stuart. You can't hide the black carpet because there's carpet here for real. That's all. That's my only joke.
Okay. All right. They have the same conversation, reverse course, blah, blah, blah. Number 3. The 3 has been showing up everywhere on consoles in a poker game. 2,085 instances, conspicuous examples of the number 3.
Data's been busy.
It
would have been cool to see more examples, though. Because what does that even mean? It's like every math test on the ship from every kid come up as, you got 3% today. Huh? You know, like things that are silly. Been kind of fun to
see. I do like the whole thing of if I wanted to send a message, I'd probably use a method like a Tachyon emission, or Decyon emission. And then it's like maybe it's about we need to run a level 3 diagnostic on all key systems. It's a good idea. Now I'll make a matching algorithm for the number 3. No time to do it, though.
If only more than 3 minutes, yeah.
Because immediately they get called to the bridge. So it's like, ah, shit.
Which is the problem with time loops. There is a limited amount of looping you can do. And so if you run out of the loop, then, of course, that's it. There ain't no more time. And, you know, they are wiser. But by the same token, it really is data that's the one that kicks butt, right? And that's it.
I'm going to start a poll, just so you know.
Oh, shit. Don't do a poll. Oh, I'm really sorry. Sorry, yeah, I'll see about the scene then. So they go to the bridge. And I do like this wide, I've said before, the long shots, just the sense of living through the scenes again and again is good. Riker is there.
So we have a new poll up, guys.
Yeah.
So what is your favorite number? There's a bunch of options there. I'm not going to read them, but you can check them out.
Okay. Yeah, I think they're all good options. Weird. Wait, are they all the same number? You okay, Stuart?
What are you talking about?
Huh. Oh, I'm sure a reason.
I didn't type those in. I typed in like actual. What the hell?
Yeah, I just see lots of 3s. Well, two sets of 3s.
Well, we have 64 viewers, which is good, but 81 likes. I'd like to get 33 likes, I think. Hit that like button.
Do you think some $3 super chats would help? Can we get three $3 super chats?
3 $3 super chats would be awesome.
3 sets of $3 super chats. So we don't want 4 $3 super chats. We want 3 $3, or 3 sets of $3, or 3 sets of 3 sets of $3. So if you believe in saving time, super chat $3 now, or 3 cents, and you can't do 3 cents, therefore $3.
3
is the... So they're back all in place. Crush, no. Troy's as useful as she always is in these loops, you know, doing her best.
Mm-hmm.
They normally start.
But then we get the very long tractor beam. We hear the boop, 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 boop of the tractor beam doing its thing. Sergeant Montgomery throws in $2 with 3 pips.
You can do it. I mean, I asked for $3. I don't know why you give me 3 pips. But it's cool you do pips, though. Yeah.
Did you know you could do pips? Yeah,
I didn't. That's cool. And they look like pips from Star Trek. I wonder if they were deliberately done to be Star Trek pips. It's cool.
Fleet Pass Swiftback throws in $2. Here's one of a set.
Ah, Hypno says my logic doesn't fly. Okay. Three sets of $1.99. There you go. Trilogy of $1.99s. We've got 2 $1.99s. I mean, $1.99s we can get one in numbers of 3. There you go. Now, there is something... I do think this last scene's a little bit longer. Because I think, as the audience, you're used to them playing the scene as cut down. So this is probably as long as the first take. But you're seeing the entire scene from start to finish. And it does lull into full sense of, okay, where are we looping to next?
Maybe.
Because I was certainly semi-convinced we're going to get out of the loop. Because nothing's changing, right? It's the same devolution. And I definitely thought that, you know, Riker would throw something new out or something, as in even though I knew what was going to happen, I thought, you know, at some point, because now they know there's loops, now they know there's a message, now they know there's 3, and yet Riker still said the same plan. Beverly is still like no one's affected by the news of 3 enough to change their ideas in the scene. I would like to have seen a few more alternates personally. But that's just me. 3.
But Data does go on to say the tractor beam will not be successful, and then decompressing the main shuttle bay. His fingers fly over the controls as they do.
And you get an extremely radical shot. Because the first time I saw this, I thought, oh, they miskeyed the rest of the ship. Because you see stars above the ship. And the shuttle bay is down below.
No, it's the main shuttle bay up top.
But of course, no, this is the main door that you can forgive most fans for not knowing there's a giant shuttle bay door there. Because you never see it in any way. And it opens and you get to see inside the goddamn main shuttle bay. And yes, it's actually rather large on the saucer. So yes, of course it would have a lot of air in it.
I just hope they evacuated everybody.
Or, at least, those that are being intimate are in the shuttles doing their thing.
There you go.
And not in the
just
rest
like
of the room.
in Titanic, they went down to the car.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah.
Because we had the Titanic analogy earlier. Little scrape.
Oh, speaking of, is Fleetboy here?
Fleetpaw just super chatted in actually with $2. Really? It says, "Oh, I never fear Fleetpaw is here."
I knew. I didn't even. That wasn't even a joke. Yay! I'm glad he's here. Because I was wondering where it was. Did not see that.
So yeah, that avoids the collision. Dun, 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 dun.
Which also makes Riker the right one. So the director was right. Is what is the subtext here? Trust your director when he says a plan. Don't be doing a different plan.
Yeah. And then we get the whole, you stack the deck without even realizing it, and you are also responsible for all the other
the lights come on, Stuart, as if the plot knows the plot's over.
Well, now that something's come through the anomaly closed. That's what was drawing the power.
Well, indeed, so I mean, like the way it's framed is like, and good, we're now over the plot. Yeah. It's logical, it's just a bit of an odd timing.
Yeah, they ask how long they've been in this. Time base confirms our chronometers are off by 17.4 days. It's like, reset them, Mr. Data. And then we get an incoming hail. The Boseman, a Federation starship, Soyuz class.
Haven't been in commission, what, 80 years?
They haven't been in service in over 80 years, except when they are, which is all the time, because they're still using them. But that's okay.
Well, no, they use the Miranda variants. They don't use the Soyuz variants.
Well, okay. Pish posh. I wish you would have said, you know, it's like new construction. Ozzy throws in $2.
Thank you.
333333333.
Yes, we need the 3s. We need the help of the 3s. The 3s have it.
then we get the beautiful Monster Maroon.
Yeah,
And a
they
cool
open the
bridge
hell.
layout. Command Line Vulpine, $5. Finally made it to live for once. One of my favorite episodes of the series. Welcome. Go back and rewatch from the beginning if
Indeed.
you want to. We'd appreciate it. But thank you for showing up. So yeah.
This is, of course, the Enterprise C bridge, where they've moved the captain's chair forward, significantly forward, and two transporter room console style or cargo bay consoles either side. Put back on the backlight of the Soyuz. And yeah, this is, I think, the last time we see a full Monster Maroon, because every other time we've seen those variants without things, and this is a full, unbridled, movie look.
Many of them. There's at least 4.
Yeah. Now I'm wondering, of course, did they make him a custom uniform for this? Because these are pretty.
I wondered the same thing. I looked at the fit. It fits really well.
Yeah, they all fit really well.
But I imagine it was probably off the rack. Maybe it was Shatner's or Nimoy's or something from the movies.
Shatner from which film? Because he changed between films. But I wouldn't be. It's like it's like if Whoopi Goldberg says I want to be in Star Trek, they're not necessarily using an off the rack uniform, right? Off the rack costume. So this guy asked to be on this show because he was famous at the time, right? So therefore, I would imagine they might say, you know what, yeah, Kelsey, well, I tell you what, we can't afford your movie or your full rate. What
Make you a Monster Maroon you can keep.
Yep, we'll give you your rate as if you weren't as famous, and we'll do your full tailored uniform. Just come on Thursday first. And he was like, fuck it, yeah, obviously. I think the pro would have done that as well.
That's what I would do.
Exactly.
That's what I would do.
Yeah, because it's a very, very good fit. Although the neck's a bit weird. I guess he's a bit chubbier than he could be because the neck is clearly like going out because his neck's too fat, I guess. Yeah, because the lady next to him is so crisp. I just wish he was in it more because he's good. He barely gets many lines. I wish he was in it more.
Yeah, Captain Picard, your vessel is not familiar to us.
But hey, very calm. I mean,
yeah,
like you'd said earlier, like the Enterprise. You know that B that exists, probably, at this time. Oh, where's Harriman? Like, where's the Enterprise that I would probably have seen? Because I'm in a... Well, I guess we're in a Soyuz, but... no mention. Oh, I don't know. I didn't know we'd skip 2 Enterprises. That's weird.
They should have all been wearing black armbands for the death of Kirk, which just happened right before they launched.
Ah, rip.
But
obviously that hadn't happened yet in canon, so you can't chastise them for guessing future elements. I don't know why they didn't bring him back. This is such an obvious plot point to bring Kelsey back and do this story part 2. And considering you'd also then get him in a TNG uniform, like,
yeah,
they're not a continuity-based show, right? It's fine, but it would have been very cool to have him back.
Yeah, so our sensors detected an anomaly. We saw your ship. Of the
temporal kind.
We almost hit you. I didn't want to say that. That's why I moved on. Well, we've been in a temporal causality loop, and I think something similar might have happened to you. You must be mistaken. We left Starbase only 3 weeks ago. What year is it? 2278. Yeah.
Although they could have guessed that by the uniforms.
Yeah.
Like the
perhaps
full
you should
variant.
Beam aboard our ship. There's something we need to discuss.
Yeah.
Nice beauty pass of the Boseman.
Yeah, which they totally didn't need to do as well.
Did they change the bridge module?
Yes.
That looks more.
Yeah.
That looks more
weird.
TOS. It looks like phase 2.
Yeah. It's got a spinner rotary at the top. I mean, this thing is knackered at this point, right? This miniature. And they're just shoving shit on it because this is the biggest difference of all the versions. Adding giant blaster cannons.
Those are sensors,
which are meant to be sensors, but they're the fucking cannons, right? Like there's 4 on either side. I love the interaction of them. Now you've got a back piece. The landing lights, the shuttle bays hit the back, which is great.
Sergeant Montgomery, $3. Hello, Sam. I'm Dr. Fraser Crane. Was his first line on Cheers. Nice.
Excellent. Yeah, I never saw Cheers. It wasn't a thing in the UK, so
watched it all the time. There's a channel here right now that plays Cheers 24 hours a day. It's fucking great.
I did see a video the other day saying the real cast ages, because they all look as if they're in their like late 50s, but they're all in their like 30s and 40s because they just old at the time. So it's like, you're older than the main character from Cheers. It's like, what? But I looked in my 20s. Yeah, because they look old. It's like, oh no. Yeah. I did. Yeah, $3 does work. See, it does work.
Only for this review though. Yeah. Never really got $3 before. We only get $2.99 every time.
Really, Species? Which channel? Because we had 5 channels at that point. What time? What? Oh, well, 3 at that point. Which channel? BBC 1, BBC 2, BBC 3? Because I certainly never saw it.
Although you also weren't alive when it was on, so.
Well, no, well, indeed. But I'm, in my house we only had 3 channels until, we got cable much later than we, because it's expensive, right? Until you have it, you don't know what you're missing because TV wasn't much of a thing. So when you suddenly get lots of channels, you then Channel 4. Okay, see, our Channel 4 didn't even work properly when I was in my house, and I was in the 90s. So, yeah, we had a static a lot of the time on 4, but anyway, 1 always worked.
That's the end.
Yeah, with a cool flyby.
I just wish we'd see from their point of view. I also want to see him beaming over to the Enterprise and learning about where they are.
The next scene.
I want to see the debriefing when he goes back to his ship and tells them what's going on.
I mean, it's obviously thematic to end there. That's the right place to end.
Yes.
But there is certainly more that would be nice to see. Yeah. And it's nice that they are... Nice that they are able to leave wanting more, at least, which is nice.
Well, guys, it's that time where you super chat in to give your final scores on this episode out of 3 or 10 out of 10. Let us know your score out of 10, and I will read all the super chat scores when we are done giving our final reviews and scoring. And if you just put it in the regular chat, Sam will read those ones. So feel free to help us out with this last little bit. Another couple $3 super chats would be amazing.
Yeah. 3 us up.
Yeah.
We be 3 with you.
And go 3 on the poll. I mean, vote on the poll.
Yeah, just take a number 3 on the poll.
Yeah, number 3 is actually winning right now. The third one down.
I'm surprised.
Third one down. It's winning. It's cool.
All
right. So this is where you're asking me to think.
Now, I will also point out that I was expecting it to be a shorter one because there's actually less to talk about.
I did too.
Because there is less to talk about. But we had so many random organic conversations that have nothing to do with this episode that were very interesting. So that's good. The fact that little things justified little conversations was good.
But felt very deja vu-y, the whole thing.
Yes. And if any fleet pole would show up, for God's sake, he's being late. We're minutes in, he hasn't even turned up yet. So Stuart, what do you think of this episode in our retrospective full analysis way? And has this discussion with you changed your feeling and brought up any new things you hadn't necessarily thought, considered, or whatever to this week's episode?
The tricorder sticker. Boom. Never noticed it. That's amazing. No, this is one of my favorite. It is a fan favorite, and I think for multiple reasons. Like I said, it feels like you've watched it 55 times if you've watched it 3 times. Because plus, as I said, ensemble cast, everybody gets something to do. I think that's really important for those fan favorite episodes. Jonathan Frakes did a fantastic job directing this one, and there were so many alternate shots and takes of the same scene. It was cool to see, and like I said, it's like a 101 course on editing and directing, I think, because I think it was really well done. Hold on just 1 second.
Yes.
All right. Anyway, so a dog's paw got stepped on, apparently. Oh. Anyway, no, but I think Beverly was great in this one. I think they all were. I love that Data had no clue what the hell was going on, because why would he, until the end where he saves the day.
It's oddly satisfying to see him be out of his depth.
Yeah.
'Cause he never is, so.
But no, I think it's fun, and
Mm-hmm.
it's definitely a good Beverly episode, but also an everybody episode. I don't know. I think it's a standout for multiple reasons. That's what I got to say.
But anything in our discussion has like you, or has, because we analysed to a high degree, that anything maybe less about it, it being less full or dynamic, or...
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
I think about the same. But I mean, it was great to have the review, though. It could be fun to go back and rewatch this one, actually, and get that sense of deja vu, right? Score-wise, for all of... for this season,
Yep.
I'll give it a 3 out of 3.
Okay.
No, but for real, I'll give it a...
Yeah, be classic for real. Come on.
I'll give it a 9.3 out of 10.
For this season. Okay.
For all of TNG, this is probably going to be like a 8.8.
Okay, what's not making it a 9 for all TNG, do you think?
Nothing. It's a 9.
Well, damn. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sure. 9's fine.
As I was wondering, because that's interesting.
There's just so many good episodes in TNG. This is definitely at the top of that list, though. So
Yeah.
9's very fair. You're absolutely right. How about you? What are your thoughts on this one? Did our conversation spark anything new?
Yes. To take something that is so the same and look at each individual subset and give each one such detail is interesting to see what we both noticed. It's funny. It's both so full and so empty as an episode. Because if you just watch the new bits, it'd be short. But the nuance is living it with the crew, is feeling the annoyance, feeling the satisfaction when they get something new. Because it really is. It's a lot less full than I thought. So I think even in the edit, it's about we did it versus how good did we do it. Because structurally it's very sound, but there's not as many flourishes as there could have been. Where like Stargate 1 is full of flourishes, right? They made it the best creatively as well as just structurally. This is very good structurally. They could have done more creatively for sure. But it's like, for a thing that could easily fall apart. Directing is very solid. It definitely shows Jonathan knows what he's doing, because you got to keep all this in your head as well. Which take are we doing? Which episode? How are we all feeling? Because it's not necessarily the actor's job to know every scene and know where everything is. You'd kind of like if they would, but if we've got another episode next week, and fair enough, right? The effects are great. They're few and far between, but they're all really good. They commit to the Death of the Enterprise so strongly, interior-wise, it feels very cool. Ro is not there. She is there, but she's not there. Deanna is not there, but she is there. But Beverly is really nice to get a hero one. And for a tech episode, that's not her normal wheelhouse. Definitely would have been a Guinan episode otherwise.
Yeah.
But it would have just been...
Or a Troy.
Troy would have as well.
This could have very easily been Troy.
And she probably should have got it, because she gets fewer episodes of Beverly, right? Mm-hmm. That said, it has slightly a similar vibe, and a small vibe to the Lost in the warp bubble. Beverly's the center of it, trying to work everything out. There's a slight vibe of that as well. Good scene with her and Picard. The chemistry is undeniable. Jordy is effortlessly technical and sells every goddamn scene. Just every scene, right? It's amazing how good that chap is at doing that character. But it isn't as good as I thought it was going to be, because it is. You expect it to be one of their top, and it is. But it's like, for me, this is a delicious chocolate cake, but there's no cherry on the top.
Not even the Monster Maroons?
Nope, because I knew it was coming, and it's fleeting. If they'd been aboard and you saw them in the briefing room and like you got to see the worlds collide, yes, but it doesn't excite me. Having rewatched it, it's missing the toppest of sparks that an Enterprise has, right? That has everything. This does, but it doesn't have that last layer of special. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Which is odd, because I kind of thought it did going into this, but it doesn't. But structurally, it's extremely good.
Sam hates it, is what he's saying.
I'm getting close, yeah. So for this season, I mean, it's bloody brilliant to this season, right? Because this season has not been this strong.
Yeah.
I am going to, for this season, give it a 9.7.
Whoa.
Because I think it is. I think
but no cherry on top with 9.7. Seriously?
For this season. Because
Okay.
this season is a lower bar, and this excels in this season because it's doing everything right for this season. All the TNG. I think you're probably right. I think I'll agree with a 9. It's missing that cherry 10.
Nice. Now, I hope Amber said her impression of it increased from some of the things we talked about here, so that's awesome. That's what we want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And we'd like you guys to be part of that conversation. All right, so let's get into some Super Chat scores.
Yes.
We got Classic for Real with $3.33. Intimate while exploding out of 10. No Colonel O'Neill. Banana, sad face. I love you guys. You guys are hilarious. We love our crowd here. Mark Lawrence, $3, a 3/3 out of 30 for me.
Oh wow.
3/3 out of 30. Okay. Command Line Volpine, $3. Maybe it's nostalgia, but it's a 10 for me. Yeah. Fleet Paw, $2, a 333 out of 10. Exploding Enterprise D's.
That's a lot of yeah, okay.
Sergeant Montgomery with $3.33. A 3 times 3 out of 10, which would be 9. 9 out of 10.
Yes, that makes sense. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's great. And then great episode, then great episode now, and 3 pips.
Oh, you can do pips on
You didn't know that already? They're just circles, I think.
No, I think somebody maybe told me that. Maybe at some point.
You know what I did hear, though, that I can't believe to this day? I heard this like 2 weeks ago. Did you know that all of the shuttles on the Titan are named after jazz musicians?
Right from Lower Decks?
Yes, yeah.
I don't know if I believe you. Let me go over.
The Coltrane, like...
Decks, Titan, shuttles...
You know that Riker likes jazz, right? So...
Okay, let me see. Hold on.
Shocking.
From CBR.com, this is an article from... God, you are late to this. This is 2021. You are really late on this, man. This is...
You didn't even know about it until I told you just now. You don't even believe it.
But we haven't told me ever, so the fact you're telling me now, I'll tell you haven't known until now. Okay, so it says... Oh, God, I'm trying to find the reference.
And Mark Lawrence meant 3 cubed. Yeah, I know. Sorry, I should have said that. My bad.
The 3 shells of the Titan are named the Coltrane, the Monk, and the Giuseppe, all famous jazz musicians.
What?
There you go. So that's
Since
what
when?
Well, since 2021.
You just blew my mind, man. I didn't know that.
Huh? What do you mean?
What
what
the fuck?
What? Are you okay?
Let's close out this poll. What is your favorite?
So what do you
number?
think of this episode, cause and effect? Do you like it, love it, meh, or is it okay?
I gotta finish the poll first.
And the results are in, Stuart. The results are: love it at 76%, like it at 17%, meh at 3%, and it's okay at 2%, with 82 votes. And of course, Stuart, the poll results are in. What do you think of this episode, cause and effect? How good is it really? Love it at 75%, like it at 18%, meh at 3%, and it's okay at 3%. And Stuart, you'll never guess, the poll results are in. What do you think of cause and effect? How is it really, and does it live up to the hype? With 66 votes, 71% love it, 22% like it, 3% meh, and 3% it's okay.
You did that 3 times. That's awesome.
The other
poll. What is your favorite number?
Okay.
Well, the third choice, 333 wins at 39%.
Okay.
3 comes in at 30%.
Okay.
333 comes in at also 18%. And 3 also comes in at 11%. I'm sad there was no 3%.
I think 3 should have won.
30%.
I think 3 should have won. I'm sorry.
There you go.
Yeah. So just for clarity, guys, we had 82 votes, and then 60, then 66, and you guys voted almost the exact same, all three. Identical meh, almost identical like it, and love it went from 76, 75 to 71, with like it swapping from 17 to 18 to 22. So you guys were very consistent. So well done. Actually, did a good job swapping that out for the fourth poll. That was a good shout. Good job.
Now let's read some non-super chat scores, and then we'll close out.
Yes, and last super chats are welcome. Getting $33 more would be actually wonderful. Actually, Gorgonzola 3 times 3 out of 10. Joe Grievous 3 plus 3 plus 3 equals 9 out of 10. Trent 9 out of 10. I'd super chat, but even after restarting, YouTube is being stupid. Oh man, well, you got your score anyway. Donnie gives a 210 out of 10. Chuck A, 9.95 out of 10. Joseph, 9 out of 10. My impression increased by some of the things we talked about. 8.5 out of 10. Tim, 10 out of 10. Both Ozzy and his mum both give it a 9 out of 10. Trent, 9. Yeah. Jamie, 9.3 out of 10. Species 9.5 out of 10. And yeah, okay, so that is a higher.
And Hypno Member gave it an 8.5 out of 10.
Ooh.
Did you read hers already?
Don't think it did it. No, I didn't see an 8. Dang. So that's pretty.
Well, there you go.
Pretty convincingly 9s in the 9s.
As I stated from the beginning, it's a fan favorite, so.
But as I said, I'm surprised I'm missing the cherry on top. There's just it didn't, something about it didn't quite get that legendary status. It just went for the extremely good status, which is nothing to be sad about, of course.
Yeah.
But I do think, yeah, if it had a scene afterwards of them being in the briefing room in Phil Vathicon, having that conversation, you know, leading to something else, would have been kind of cool. Obviously, but I think would have upped it for me.
Yeah, and Sergeant Montgomery says this has been 3 times as fun as the last review.
Oh.
Facts.
Okay.
Facts.
Well, that's good, probably.
So, be sure to join us next week, guys, when we do review Cause and Effect.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
Season 5, episode 18.
Hopefully, Fleetpaw will arrive, because he's been late every live in recent memory.
Yeah. It's a shame it didn't pop your cherry, Samuel. It did pop his cherry because it wasn't there. Anyway.
Yep.
Join us for our episode tomorrow. Don't know what it's going to be, but check it out. And also join us next week for more lives. Yes,
I had a busy day of filming, doing things, and you sort of forget that if you've got to go to bed early to wake up for filming, you then can't do a live because obviously you got to get up early. So it's been a kind of a weird week of like, oh shit, I can't sleep again. Oh shit, I can't sleep again. So I tend to get about 5.5 hours of sleep per filming night, which is you realise isn't good for you after 3 of them in a row.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
But anyway, guys, we'll be back next week with more. Don't worry.
I appreciate it.
Until then, he is Commander Cockings.
He's Captain Foley.
Make sure you blow the main shuttle bay. And everyone in it.